Good afternoon, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here, and it's Thursday, and the Raptors got a double victory yesterday. Both teams won yesterday on Wednesday. 9:05 win in the morning while we did a watch along against Greensboro Swarm, and the Raptors did take care of business against the Sixers last night in a great game in Philadelphia. It was just a lot of fun. So we're going to react to both games today, and also I have to give you the ref lineup for the 9:05 game tonight. Raptors 9:05 will play again tonight immediately against Greensboro Swarm once again. 7 p.m. start tonight. So I might as well just tell you the refs for that right now, and we'll get right into the reacting. Also, this is a reaction stream, so the phone lines are open if anybody wants to call today. So yeah, let's look at the refs for 9:05 tonight. Tonight, the crew chief will be Julian Scott, number 61. The referee will be Matt Rafferty, number 48, and the umpire will be R.J. Johnson, number 29. So, yeah, that'll be the second game. Now, we know in back-to-back games with the same team in a series, very often the statistical thing that will happen is that it will be a split. And especially back-to-back on the road against the same team that was undefeated when you beat them yesterday. They're going to be really trying hard to beat us tonight to change, the taste in their mouths from last night. Because honestly, they were rolling good and they were feeling good about themselves, the Greensboro Swarm. But they met Andrew Jones in 9:05 yesterday and they found out. So this will be a very, very difficult test for the Raptors 9:05 tonight at 7 against Greensboro Swarm Part 2. Because, it's really hard to win a home series against the other team. I mean, a away series against the other team, because usually statistically a 2-game series is a split where both teams get one of the wins. So we'll just have to see how professional and how well they play tonight in Greensboro against the Swarm tonight in Part 2. But yeah, it should be a very entertaining game, and I welcome anybody that wants to watch the game with me on YouTube. In the chat, I'll be in there talking tonight during the game, and I'll also be on the Discord, of course, tonight. So, yeah, let's check in with the chat, and we'll do the stars of the game for both games yesterday. And also we'll do all the regular format stuff we do, the Instagram stories, the birthdays, and the straight goods on Canadian goods, all that kind of stuff. We got that coming up right now. Trevor J's first in, as usual, our commissioner of fun, the bedrock of this channel, as far as somebody who's just very steady and dependable. And I appreciate Trevor Jones so much for that. There's I try to be very steady and dependable with doing my show and being on time and being here, like where y'all can rely on me and count on me. Well, Trevor's one of the support systems that helps me, that I can rely on and depend on himself. And I really do appreciate Trevor for that. It's like very hard to find good people, and Trevor is a good person. That's right. Ships don't sink because of that water around them. Ships sink because the water gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. Some of what's going on in this world right now is not really anything to do with us. It's a manufactured crisis or conflict. And some of it is absolutely a distraction. Some of it is done nefariously on purpose to, just see how much people can get away with. In some ways, at a certain point, some of us could just say, is this really our circus? Is this really our circus? No, it's not. This has been all created by psychopaths, honestly. And in some ways, we don't have to play the game. And that's the big, huge secret weapon that we all have as people, is if we can figure out ways to get out of the game and not even play the game with them, we don't even have to be on that boat with them. Because in some ways, a lot of this bullshit that's going on right now is absolutely manufactured. Whether it's the division between us all, that's manufactured by Russian bots that push us in social media places to be against each other. It's manufactured by crises that aren't crises, like, oh my gosh, immigration this, immigration that, but made a boogeyman to allow some people to do crazy shit. So let's understand exactly what's going on. In some ways, perception is not reality. And the reality is, in our own worlds, we have a lot more power and autonomy than we think. And in some ways, our power is our attention, and also what we allowed to do as far as participating in this bullshit. More and more, I'm deciding as I get older that it's not my circus, I don't need to play in it. And that means making my own life separate from it. And in some ways, that may be turning off the computer, that may be getting outside and gardening, that may be making more community roots and more connections around me so that I can have a support system that isn't a bigger support system on something that's all messed up through a corporate hierarchy. So there's all kinds of ways we can fight back, y'all. And going small, going grassroots, and going green are really huge ways to do it. Yeah, it's awesome. All right. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom. And that's right. You don't have to let them weigh you down with their bullshit. You don't have to believe their bullshit. Seriously. They've done such a good job of dividing us up that, you know what, when we turn back to being like, you know what, there's nothing different between us and we're all cool, whatever political spectrum we're on, they lose all their power. And Putin starts to frown because his biggest directive was divide North America, divide the Americans, make the Americans hate each other so much they tear each other apart from the inside, do the dirty work for him. And Americans need to wake up and realize this, that Chinese and Russian bots on social media, manufactured fake people, are driving the wedge between their people. And it's up to you if you want to let Russia win, guys, because you don't need to. Don't fall for this shit. Liberal this, conservative that, forget about it all. That's always been the weapon they've used over the past decade or so. And it's very, very effective by Vladimir to make people hate each other. Don't understand the truth here, guys. It's Russian mind bullshit. This is what they're doing to us. Seriously. All right, let's keep going. Trevor's saying this. Happy game day, 9:05. Let's win again tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. In the month of November 2025, the Raptors and the Raptors 905 are 13-1 with their record. The only time we lost this month was to Nick Nurse and them on that Saturday when Joel Embiid played and Jakob Poeltl did not. But the Raptors 905 are a perfect 5-0. And otherwise, the Raptors have won 8 games, which is fantastic. So it looks like we got a call today, guys. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. This is our guy out in Alberta, the City Slicker. Seymour Pape is on the air. Good morning to you, sir.
What's going down? You good?
Yeah, man. I'm real good, man. I'm excited, man. If you're a Raptors fan, how can you not be on Cloud 9 right now? Cloud 9 meaning RJ Barrett's cloud. That's right.
Yeah, I love it, man. We're shutting up all the naysayers. It's funny because a lot of different channels on TikTok and shit, people just posting their thoughts on the East. And you'd go in there and just write a comment saying, Raptors going to take the East this year. And then people would be like, are you on drugs?
Yeah. Yeah.
What can you say now when we're kicking ass and we're beating up the whole league? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am on drugs, but I said this in June. And I felt it very deeply in my heart. And it's so nice to see it come to fruition because, listen, you guys watch me every day, the regular Raptor freaks that are here every day. I've been saying this for like 6 months. And it's finally coming true. And now, it's crazy because what happened yesterday? Josh Bloomberg got on Blue Skies and he apologized for his takes on the Brandon Ingram trade from earlier this year. He thought it was a bad trade. And he went on and on about how this is a big risk and, oh my gosh, what are we doing with Brandon? But now he's seeing the results and he's come around and apologized as of yesterday saying, I was absolutely wrong about Brandon Ingram and his effect on the Raptors. And I like that. And somebody's owning up to it and saying, you know what, maybe I was too negative on this deal and that it's absolutely been a really good thing that's worked out. So.
Yeah, a lot of people need to come back in and recircle on that.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Yeah. All right. You want to do 4 quarters, Seymour? Let's go.
Yeah. So my first quarter, I'm giving the player of the game to RJ.
Yeah. Okay.
I just loved everything I seen. Energy, just everything that he did. It was just like, damn, okay, that's our guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's everybody might have their own people. Like some people might go with Scotty, some people might go with BI or even IQ. But my choice is RJ.
You know what RJ is to me, Seymour? He's that family member at the reunion that waits for everybody else to get their plate. And then he comes in and gets his plate afterwards. He's like, Auntie, come get your plate. Come on and get it, young fella. He's saying everybody else first and then I'll eat after. And to have that kind of egoless kind of talent that kind of just fills the gaps where Brandon and Scott aren't filling it is just such a blessing for our team. And it really is a big part of his affinity and love for his hometown and for his favorite team in his entire ever life, the Toronto Raptors. And Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to see, man. And I agree with you. You know, I debated heavily about who I should give the number one star to today. And RJ wasn't the number one star. I did switch it afterwards, though, because I have my reasoning for it. But I completely agree. In some ways, you may think, well, RJ, was he exactly the guy who won the game for us yesterday? Not exactly, but there were a lot of things he did that were necessary for us to win, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and before getting off of that first quarter, but
Sure.
it's crazy to see how we don't get respect from the refs. And what I mean by that is that play where he dunked on Drummond.
Yeah.
Drummond hit him in his head.
Hit him in the eye.
That's supposed to be like an automatic free throw and back to being our ball once you hit a player in the head. Wasn't that a rule before?
It's not. It's if it's deemed a flagrant, that's when that goes that way. Now, Tyler Ford was the one who called the foul on that. And you know what I was going to say about that play actually is the opposite of what you're saying. Is I'm glad that Tyler Ford respects RJ Barrett enough to give him the extra free throw, because a lot of the refs across the league wouldn't even call that and one, and it would just be his dunk, and he wouldn't get that extra point afterwards. I mean, I was like, in some ways, I'm like a little bit like, thank you. And you're like, wait, that should have been a flagrant. We should have got the free throw and the ball in. I mean, he did hit him right in the face, and that's very dangerous. And you're right. They do specially take a look at stuff that has to do with hitting the face or the neck or the head. And you maybe had a case, but in some ways, I was coming from the angle is like, well, I'm glad he respect RJ enough to put him on the line for the extra shot.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because and that's how it usually goes for us. Like, we don't get that respect for us. It's like we gotta be bleeding or some shit.
Yeah. And I like the eagle eye of Tyler Ford to see, wow, RJ just got hit in the face. I got to give him a free throw, and he called that. You know, that's the thing. In some ways, we have a lot of refs that don't give any respect to RJ, Scotty, or Grady. And those three guys go in the lane, they get hit all over the place, and there's no whistle. So I have to give credit to Ford for that one at least. So.
That's a fact. Because I think, like, if it was the other way around, they would have gave the flagrant to RJ if he would have hit Drummond in the head.
Maybe, yeah. Although the optics of him hitting Drummond in the head probably wouldn't be that impressive, and maybe not, because like if it's a smaller guy hitting a big guy in the head, that's that Shaq kind of thing where, you know, foul the hell out of him, foul the hell out of Scotty, foul the hell out of Giannis, and they don't call shit. So, yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Awesome first quarter, man. We go to the next one.
All right. So, BI3, right?
Yeah.
This guy's an offensive.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say we've never, I don't know. Have we had a play? Okay, I'm going to get into what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, the last three guys that we really honed in on for our offense was Fred, OG, and Pascal. This was before Scott, right?
Sure, yeah.
You have Fred, who's an undrafted player.
Yeah.
He came and he made his way. OG, we all know OG, he can knock down that shot if he's open, but he's a defensive specialist. Even Luka came out and said, this is one of the greatest defensive players we have in the league. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Sure.
Okay. And then Pascal, he picked up a basketball at what, age 17 and started
Yeah.
Right? So now when you put Scotty amongst those guys, and Scotty is he's like a Jack Army knife. This guy's he can hone on every aspect of the game and do it at a good level.
Yeah.
Now when you put a guy like Brandon Ingram next to him, he's an offensive savant.
Yes.
I'm seeing it rubbing off onto Scotty. His mid-range jumper is killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've seen the last couple games. Scotty has a signature shot that he's hitting in the around the elbow area next to the free throw line where he does a little turnaround, and it's very Leonard-like. It's very Kawhi-like. And you're right, because I got this feeling from this a couple months ago when Scotty did an interview talking about Brandon and how great he thinks he is. And the thing he said about Brandon was his footwork is so amazing. And he even tipped us off that he's studying him and his footwork. And that's the thing to me that is like an extra on top of just, you get Brandon playing as himself out there, you're going to get what he does, clutch factor, making shots when you really need them, just doing the whole offensive platter that you just described. But on the side, there's a bonus attribute for him being around, and that's he's a teacher. And in some ways, some of the young Raptors can be pupils of his. And it's not just Scotty, especially Scotty, though, but the guy who has the namesake of the mentor for Brandon early in his career, who did play with Kobe Bryant. That's the thing. All of our guys love Kobe. Kobe's one of their favorite players, and Scotty wants to know how Kobe played. And the link and the bridge to that is Brandon, because Brandon played with Kobe in his early years in the Lakers, and he can literally tell stories to Scott about one of his idols. This is what Kobe used to say, or this is what Kobe did. And that's solely, that's a keen eye of you to see this, because I figured this was going to start happening, and that this is going to be part of the evolution of Barnes. Is the presence of Brandon is going to influence him and teach him the ways of Mamba, and that's the scary thing for the league.
yeah. Facts. That's mad scary for the league. Because you know what? When everyone was saying Scotty would be the face of the league, I was saying, you know what? Okay, he has the potential, but it's not there yet. That product of Scotty being the face of the league, we're not there yet, right? But with Brandon around him and the way he's rubbing off on Brandon, it's like, whoa, the league got to be scared, because I see where Scotty, a year or two around Brandon, with Scotty around Brandon, this guy's going to be very scary. He's going to be nasty.
Yeah, because Scotty's a sponge, and his ego's not so big that he's like, I don't want to learn from any of my teammates. No, he's ready, and that's the thing. That's part of the reason why Brandon's so good, is he has Kobe's footwork. And you think about it, he's going to be around Grady, he's going to be around Jacoby, and these guys will pick up little things from him, and especially Scott. And I think the thing, I don't care about Scott being the face of the league anymore. I think it's very apparent that it's going to be Victor. I think that it's just very apparent at this point that Victor Wembanyama is going to be the face of the NBA going forward, just because he's such an anomaly and he is something crazy. But the thing I like about Scott is he's starting to get more recognition for being that Swiss Army knife that you just brought up. And it doesn't have to do anything. And this is what I was saying this summer. It's like, the man does not have to score 20, y'all. He does not have to do all this stuff, because you're going to see him do everything else and fill it up. And he's going to get the respect for that too. He was the highest plus minus last night. And he only had like 14, 16 points or something like that. He wasn't one of our leading scorers, but he absolutely was one of the main reasons why we won last night. And yeah, so I love it. I love it. In some ways, what can Scott get for recognition? Does he care about being the face of the league? Does he care about getting all these accolades? No, he cares about winning. And you know what? He wins enough. He understands he's going to get the recognition. Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. I love that so much. I love talking about this. All right, you want to go number 3?
All right, number 3. I want to give a shout out to this one player. I heard the announcer say it last night. He on the Cavs. You know that guy Tomlin?
Yeah. Daquan or something. Daquan Tomlin or something. I think that's his name. Naquan. His name. Naquan.
They took him off the streets, man. Like, he didn't even come through no college or nothing. They found him at Rucker Park.
Wow.
Street. Yeah.
Wow.
The reporter was talking about last night, saying, man, they got this guy off the streets. They found him playing at Rucker Park, 155th. I'm like, damn.
That's awesome. I mean, he's got good size. When we played them, he's been annoying. He's definitely been in there and effective as an NBA player as far as his length and his defense and rebounding. He's very annoying in the games we played against the Cavs so far this year. That's a great story. Seems like a Delonte West kind of thing going on there, man.
Yeah, and he got in a fight. Well, he didn't get in a fight. He got in a little dust up with Jabari Smith last night. And it was funny because the way he was sticking on Jabari Smith, I'm like, whoa. I think us playing the Cavs rubbed off something into them, because we outran them that game. Remember, I think they were off a back-to-back, and we were just pushing the ball. So last night when I seen he was playing the Rockets, he was running up and down. He was in the jersey, sort of a lot of what we were doing to them, he was doing to the Rockets. Yeah. And it frustrated the hell out of the Rockets. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I like the way we're playing, and if teams want to try and emulate they're not going to tame us. Yeah. Just like that logo that was on your shirt, with the husky in it. They're not going to tame us. They're going to be food.
Right. It's interesting because this really is a copycat league. And the finals last year has had a huge impact on this season so far. We saw in preseason teams running around like it was the playoffs. And Steve Kerr's really worried about the league this year, because the way we're playing with the pace we're playing, the stats are out. They've measured this, and NBA players are running more faster and more distance in the NBA season this year than last year. And the increase in injuries is being attributed to the faster pace and the way we're playing all of a sudden. And this is true. This makes sense. If guys are going all out and they're playing and they're exhausted and more, there's more chance of, these kind of things that happen. So for us, a team that's kind of been building ourselves this way for a couple of years already. We're a little bit more conditioned and stamina for doing this, but some of these other teams may be coming into training camp and their coach is telling them like, look, y'all, we're doing something different this year. The league is changing. We need to run more. What do you mean, coach? Yeah, we're running. We're doing it. It's the Raptors ruin the league, man. So it's like, all of a sudden, everybody's running, but they ain't got the stamina built up. They may be getting hurt, is what I'm saying. So
look at a guy like Anthony Davis. Like, where is he right now? He's injured, right?
Yeah.
And he came in overweight.
Yeah.
He's coming in overweight, and you got teams like us, Detroit, that's just playing running gun basketball.
Well, his figuring was he figured he want to put on strong weight so he'd be strong and he wouldn't be as able to be hurt because he's bigger, because he's stronger. That's what his thinking was.
Mr. Always Down. And I want to give what's that girl named Dana? She was a two-finger salute to Raptors Digest. I think that she did. How did you put up a segment about Raptors are trying to trade for Anthony Davis? Like, if you guys see any of this garbage online, please
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's just some wild ideas out there. Like I said, and this is why we don't do this on this channel. Trade speculation shows or talking about this or this John Morant bullshit that was going on recently. Yeah, that's a goofy trade. And like, why would we do that? First of all, Davis, first of all, the Lakers were happy to get rid of him, obviously. And the Mavs are already trying to get rid of him. This has been a case with him since he left New Orleans, that he's been so injury prone, and his contract is insane. It's like, if this Dana girl on Raptors Digest actually looked at the numbers and the money and how it would line up, and she saw actually what had to leave here to bring him here, she'd be like, what are you doing? And then he comes here and he sits on the bench because he's out all the time. What is this?
AD stands for always down.
Yeah, always down. I like that. That makes sense. Yeah. All right, man, let's go.
All right, so I'm not going to BC. I'm not doing it.
Oh, you're not going to do it? Okay, it didn't feel right, huh?
Now the thing is, there's a couple points. So one, I'm from Scarborough originally.
Right.
So
yeah.
I see all them trees and stuff. Like, honestly, I can't do the wilderness like that. If you take me off the concrete, I get nervous, bro.
Oh, okay. So you like the flat plains and seeing for miles and miles of Alberta over the forests of BC.
Yeah, I can't do, because I was tripping. Like, the mountains is too big, and it just seems like someone's always watching me. And so, nah, I can't do it.
Who's watching you in the woods, man? Bigfoot? Sasquatch? Somebody's watching me. Who's watching you out there? It's like,
I went out there, and everybody on that, because it's like a small town.
I see.
People.
Yeah.
So all these dudes out there, all they do is gamble. When I went out there for the weekend, I'm telling everyone's putting parlay bets on this and that. And I ended up putting money on that Raptors game with the Sixers, and we lost. Mind you, I don't gamble. I never do.
Yeah.
That weekend, because I was out there and everyone was putting money
You were just trying to be a part of everything. I get it.
Right. And I don't want to move out there, and then I turn into this gambler, because that seems like the addiction out there.
Really?
And then it was funny because we lost the game, which was the only loss we've had in the last, 11 games.
Yeah.
Right?
This month. This only lasts.
You said, you brought up a good point about people who gamble and stuff like that. You don't want to be around people like that because it's just low vibration, low energy, and it's negative.
It is. If you're putting yourself into an addictive thing where you try and get a dopamine rush from winning over and over again, you're going to want it over and over again. And that's the whole racket of Vegas. It's like, the slot machine. And like all of a sudden you're losing money, and it's all set up for you to lose money unless you're very, very astute and you know how to bet on the NBA where you will win mostly. I could maybe do it myself, but I don't even want to get into that because I know as an alcoholic and somebody who goes to the rooms that I have an addictive personality and I will fall into that abyss with that. I like that you've seen this for yourself as far as like, I could be out here, but this is the culture. And I don't think this culture would be healthy for me. And that's good. That's good. I mean, did you see the trucks though?
Oh yeah. I took pictures and all that. I was only like halfway to the wheel, and I'm 6'4", 6'5", and I was like halfway to on the wheel.
That's awesome, man. Well, you know what? Listen, the best thing to do is trust your inner voice and your gut feeling. And you know what? I support you on whatever decision you make. In some ways, if you got it okay and good where you're at right now, and you don't want to take that leap because it seems like it may be shaky. Man, I support you in what you decide, man. I'm proud of you, man, for coming to your decision.
I'm good here because I got free dental here. Shit, I'm making like 30 here, so it's good. And I like, I like being in this city, being from Toronto, because I've always been the underdog in my life. I love being the underdog going against the grain. So it's cool being out here because my family, when they do travel from Toronto and come out here, they're just in a different environment.
And you get to show them around and be No, that's awesome, man. I mean, you've been in Calgary for how many years now?
Shit, like what, 8, 9?
Okay, yeah. So you've got it pretty down what you're doing out there. So yeah, that's awesome, man. We'll see more, man. I'm glad you came to that conclusion, man. I'm glad you came to that conclusion. Whatever's best for you. I love you, man. I just want you to be happy. That's all I care about right there. From one underdog to another. That's right. That's what keeps us together as birds of a feather and makes us Raptor freaks. And that's why it's all the sweeter when our team is on top once again. That's right.
I got one last thing.
Sure, overtime, baby.
Did Garrett Temple, because remember he was in New Orleans with BI as well,
yes,
right?
He was.
Do you think his decision of just being in Toronto, do you think he pulled Brandon Ingram over here in a way or no?
You know what? This is a great question, and there is some talk about it. I know Bobby Webster went to Garrett before he made the trade to get Ingram and consulted him about Brandon and who he was as a person. That both Masai and Bobby, I should say Masai too, they were both went and interviewed Garrett about Brandon, and Garrett gave a glowing review of this guy's a really good team guy. He's misunderstood in some ways. He's a hard worker. He gave him all that juice on that. But, in the inverse of what you're describing, I think that's true too, is that, it didn't hurt having an old head vet like Garrett on our team who's familiar with Brandon as a teammate already, to make it a little bit more of a softer landing coming to another country and playing for the Raptors because, hey, there's old head right there. Hey, old head. I remember. Yeah. You remember when we were down on Bourbon Street that one time? Yeah. Oh, Brandon, come on. Don't bring that up right now. Stuff like that. It's probably like that. So, and, that probably did make it a lot more enticing for Brandon to make the decision he made with Clutch and Rich Paul to come to Toronto. Yeah.
For real. All right, man. All right. I'm going to get back like Hulk Hogan, all ears on y'all, man. Y'all have a great day.
So much joy to get the 4 quarters call from Seymour Pape, the city slicker, the sheriff of this channel, holding it down for us in the mountain time, man. Woo-wee! What a great time to be a Raptor freak. What a great time to be a Raptors fan. Let's go is what I'm talking about right now. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Trevor J's brought up that the WNBA will see a big pay increase. The latest news from the negotiations and the collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA's players and the league is that the high pay will be 1.1 million is the high pay, and then everybody will get at least 250,000. I think that's the parameters of the pay right now that I've seen the numbers that they're putting out there. Hopefully they'll agree to it very soon because we're getting close to the end of November, and we need to have this expansion draft for the tempo in December, and they can't do anything with the drafts before they get this agreement done. So Godspeed to the WNBA and their collective bargaining thing that's going on right now, because we'd like to get some players on our Toronto Tempo roster ASAP. Yeah. So yeah, that's the interesting news there. Hopefully we'll find out a ratified agreement and it'll be all going. Let's go and get some players, Sandy Brondello. That's right. Let's go. That's right. Trevor's saying, and this Sunday coming WNBA draft lottery. So they're saying the draft lottery is this Sunday. Yeah, we found out once again that the Toronto Tempo will be picking, I think, 5th or 6th in the lottery. So we're looking for who should we draft with our first ever Toronto Tempo draft pick, just like Damon Stoudemire for the Raptors. Who's going to be that person? That's going to be the first ever Toronto Tempo draft pick. And it'll be after the draft lottery for the WNBA. And I believe it's 5 teams, and then we pick 6th. So the Toronto Tempo will pick 6th in the draft, and the Portland Fire will pick 7th, the other expansion team. So, yeah, that'll be Sunday is the draft lottery, and that'll be figured out. Some people are speculating it will be Dallas once again that wins the draft lottery once again for 2 years straight. Some fishy stuff there. Patrick Dumont. That's what I say right there. Trevor's saying Stephen A. Smith was pulled off NBA Countdown for the rest of the season. Everyone is loving it. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, did he get in trouble because he named his top 5 wrestlers to Dominic Mysterio on the show the other day, and it was a joke, and Mysterio made fun of him. I don't know. Either way, less Stephen A, I'm okay. I made that rhyme. That's pretty good. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying this. Nice wins for both 905 and the Raptors. They know how to close out in the fourth quarter. Beautiful basketball. This is, in some ways, if I'm reacting to both games, I can give a little template for both games. It's like, look, both teams were tested. Both teams had close games, and both teams showed know-how and execution and what needed to be done to close the game out to absolutely win. And this is something we're seeing more and more often. One of the stats that's really cool about the Raptors right now is any close games, they're winning. It's like 4-2. And any games that are decided under 5 points so far this season, we are 4-2 in close games late. So that means we're executing. We're doing the right defense. We're doing the right things at the end, the winning plays to get the wins. And the great thing is we're getting tested in different ways, and we are succeeding. And the big thing is also that we have multiple different players, and Darko said this in the interview last night again, multiple different players contributing to us winning these games. It's not just Scotty getting a block. It's Brandon getting a block too. It's not just Brandon hitting a 3. It's RJ hitting a 3 too, or Emmanuel. It's a group effort, and it's going amazing. Amazing so far. One of the great things that symbolizes this is that we had one of the stats I love about the Raptors game against Philly last night is that we had 6 guys that got at least 4 assists, and none of them got over 6 assists. So we have like the main group, the starters and one of the bench guys, Shed, basically are all getting assists like crazy between each other. And we saw that on the court last night with some of the amazing, there was a lot of hockey assists last night, a lot of hockey assists, which means there's a pass to a pass to a pass to a basket. And, it was like going whoop, 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 and then somebody's shooting it and making it. And we saw that a lot last night, and that is just beautiful basketball. That's fun to watch. That's the way Darko has been trying to train them for the last few years. And we're seeing it at a higher level of talent with Brandon added. And, when you got Brandon, Scotty, and RJ doing a triangle pass around, and whoever's going to get the best shot, and they just bounce it back and forth. And often they just lands on Pirtle, and he just puts it in. The passing's immaculate and amazing, and it's just the way basketball is supposed to be played. And the fact that you have so many players get in between 4 to 6 assists in the same game, well, this is just team basketball. This is the way it's supposed to be played. And the superstar era of the 2010s in the NBA is the antithesis of the game that the Raptors play right now. And in some ways, our way of playing is way more sustainable for the future because this is the way you're supposed to play. And this is the way you're supposed to win. I love it so much, man. I love the teamwork. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful, beautiful basketball game. That's right. Isaac's here. He's got the starters on blast. The Notorious Barbecue Yak show goes to Toronto for Friday in the in-season tournament game number 3. We will play the Wizards tomorrow, and it matters because it is an in-season tournament game Friday night. And, well, let's not play with our food. In fact, I'm looking at the schedule right now, and now that we're on a 5-game win streak after this Philly game, Washington, Brooklyn, Cleveland again, that one may be tough. The second night of a back-to-back next Monday, but it's at home and a home-and-home back-to-back. And then Indiana in the in-season tournament game on the Wednesday next week. And then Charlotte again on Saturday. That Knicks game will be on a Sunday. By the time we get to the Knicks on the last day of the month, could we be 10-game winning streak? That's the thing. We got 5 games in front of us that are very winnable. And, we could be on a 10-game winning streak by the time we take to the court against OG Anunoby and the New York Knickerbockers. So let's aim for that. 1 game at a time. It's like we've been doing, but these games are very winnable looking at them. And, we're at 5-game winning streak. We haven't had a 5-game winning streak very often. We haven't won 4 games on the road in a row since like the best record season in the Raptors history, which was the pandemic year when the league closed down the year after Kawhi. So, there's a lot of parameters and metrics that we're meeting right now. They're off the charts for stuff that we haven't done since Marc Gasol was on our team. And this is good stuff, man. There's a lot of things. I told y'all we got to be sustaining of this. And, we need to get used to being up at the top of the Eastern Conference for the rest of the year, guys. And I love it. I love it. I mean, I wasn't trying to be greedy. I said, I know we're going to be a playoff team. I started saying we'd be top 4. But, man, I wasn't going to say we're going to be top 2. But right now we're top 2. And that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. In some ways, when we're doing better than what I prognosticate as one of the most homerish, favorable fans towards the Raptors, we are really good. They're going above beyond what I would say they would do. Seriously, because I'm on that end of the spectrum. I realize that, people. But you know what? This just goes to prove that, like, if you want to be successful in life, open yourself up for success and say, you know what? We can do this. We're that damn good, Stuart Small. Look in the mirror, Michael Jordan, say, you know what? I'm good. I'm good, and I can do this, and I can win 5 games in a row. Yeah, you need to tell yourself that, Raptors fan, and stop being so negative and be a little bit more open to success, because success will find you easier when you're open to it, is what I'm saying right there. Yeah, let's go. Isaac Campbell saying the Raptors jump into second place, and all of a sudden Canada exists. It's great because we are getting a lot more attention on NBA.com. They are posting that Brandon dunk from a couple of games ago a lot. And, in some ways it's interesting because, these kind of stars that are powerful, that people have to respect, like Vince Carter, Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Ingram, they get the notoriety for us nationwide. That's who put us on the map, right? Vince came up here. He started doing the dunks. He became the most popular player in the NBA. And all of a sudden, the attention of NBC and ESPN and everybody down there was like, whoa, the Raptors. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We kind of have had a couple players that bring this. Even stars like DeMar DeRozan and Chris Bosh don't have this gravity that I'm talking about right now, like Vince, Kawhi, and Brandon. And that's the thing. Brandon Ingram is a bona fide, respected person when he's healthy, and he does what he does. And in some ways, they're starting to realize this. I told everybody this summer, and Darko said it too. Y'all are not respecting the addition of Brandon Ingram to the Raptors roster, and y'all are going to find out. And, well, they're finding out now, and it's fantastic. I love it so much. Yeah, Canada exists. Yeah. Y'all can forget about adding us to your country. True North, strong and free forever. But, yeah, you can put us on our highlights if you want. Yeah, Nako's here. Good to see Nako the Nacho. Good morning to you, sir. IQ, Jacoby, and RJ were our best. Okay, let me go look at it. I'm glad Jacoby woke up last night. All right, here's the stars of the game according to the Raptors Freak. Number 1 star, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Manny. Manny got the after-game interview with RJ. They actually did it together, and that was cute, and that was fun. But Emmanuel, in some ways, his explosion in the fourth quarter was huge to carry us to the win. He really hit some major threes late. And I love how most people are saying now Quickly is earning his contract. I mean, this bullshit this whole summer is saying, this is gaslighting shit. I don't know if Emmanuel's worth this money. I don't know this and that. I hated that shit so much. Because it's like, look, you're not even giving the man a chance to get healthy and get a string of games in where you can actually see what he contributes and does to help the Raptors win. And, well, you guys feel better about money he's making because of how he helped us win last night? Because that's the thing. In some ways, he was the key guy in the starters. That was the offensive guy that carried us in the fourth quarter with 11 fourth quarter points. That was huge. Now, of course, that third quarter of 44 points. Wow. That was a huge explosion. And we really showed dominance in that third quarter on the Sixers and kicking their ass and winning it there. But, man, Manny was awesome. He's my number 1 star of the game, Emmanuel Quickly. If you need baskets, call 5 is what I'm saying here. And 18 points for Emmanuel in 38 minutes, 7 of 15 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3, 5 rebounds. Once again, he's a point guard, and he's getting 5 rebounds, 6 assists, only 1 turnover, 3 steals also for Emmanuel. He was a +8 for the game. No, he just really timely scoring. He didn't score a whole lot in the first half. And then late, he really showed up to give us some points and keep us up. We had a really good lead on them after the third, but then we kind of screwed up in the fourth and let that game kind of get close again. It was a little bit of a nail biter. But, people like Emmanuel, Brandon, and RJ, they kept us ahead, and I appreciate them for it. My second star of the game is RJ Barrett. We've talked about him already a bit, but let's go over his stats. 22 points for RJ in 34 minutes. He was a +7. He shot 6 of 12, 50%, 2 of 5 from 3, 8 of 9 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 turnovers. So, yeah, RJ, this is the thing. Last night, the Sixers were making a big deal out of the brickin' for chicken promotion. Yeah, Chick-fil-A, where the whole crowd gets Chick-fil-A nuggets. If two free throws are missed by a Raptor at a free throw attempt that they have, like if they miss both the free throws. And with our team, that's a little bit dangerous that they might get the brickin' for chicken. because we got Yak and we got RJ. And well, every single time those Raptors got up to the line, I was like, man, don't miss both of them. But then I was also thinking, you know what? Wait, what if they miss both of them? That's actually really nice to do for the people of Philadelphia. You could be humanitarian. So I say, all right, let's game this so we don't lose. Either we make every single one, we got at least one free throw so they don't get their brick in for chicken, or we do miss both of them, Yak, and you feed the people like your Mother Teresa, like you're a humanitarian. It's like, oh, okay, we can't lose on this one if I game it that way. So, yeah, if they had missed 2 free throws in a row and they had given chicken to the people, I would say, yeah, take that, Chick-fil-A. You got to give out free nuggets to everybody in Philly tomorrow. And you know what? That would have been nice too. But alas, no chicken for the people because RJ made his free throws. And, yeah, he's 8 of 9 at the free throw line. So, yeah, that's good stuff. That bricking for chicken stuff was goofy, man. I'm just going to say that. And, yeah, the Raptors probably did shoot way better at the free throw line, partly because of that promotion and them being all in their face where they eat more chickens, cows, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But, RJ, you're a badass. You rep the city right. And in some ways, like I said earlier, you are the person who's really giving and in the middle of it all. But in some ways, you're shining and you're thriving, even if you're not the focal point, even if you're not the one who's getting all the attention. In some ways, you don't like that. In some ways, you like exactly the role you're in. And in some ways, we all know that you're the heart of this team in some ways because you are the one who brings the heart from the hometown as the hometown hero. And in some ways, you set the tone of respect and love and passion to go all out for the Raptors because it's so true and pure in your heart, what you're doing for the Raptors right now. It's a totally different thing, New York Knicks fans. I'm sorry. And you will never, ever experience with him on your team because it can't be like that for y'all with RJ because he's not from your town. He's from our town, and he's number 9 from the 905. And that's what I'm saying right there. That's right. My third star of the game is this. It is the big Yak man. Jakob has been very solid in this stretch of games. He's been very good shooting-wise. And more, I'm realizing that Jakob Poeltl has definitely been to the school of Duncan. That's right. He dropped this the other day when they did the little who's better cards. They had like all the Jordan and LeBron and Kobe and Olajuwon and all them, and like flipping who's better. Like, who do you pick between these two or the GOAT? And well, when Duncan came up for Jakob, he brought up, that's my guy, Timmy. Yeah, that's my guy, Timmy. And the more I think about it, it's like, look, Jakob never had that push shot before he went to San Antonio. He didn't have it when he was in his early career on the Raptors. The touch wasn't right and the confidence and the way he does it. But I love this. This really is kind of like we had a kid and like he sent him off to college. You know, Jakob, we love you here in Toronto, but you got to go to college, and it's San Antonio College. And you got to go down there, and there's professors down there. The dean is Popovich. Dean Popovich will greet you, and you'll come in, and there'll be different professors. And the one professor you should really study under is Professor Duncan. Yeah, he's going to be coming to practice. There's Professor Ginobili, Professor Parker. There's a lot of different professors down there, but the one you really should pick as your lead teacher is Professor Duncan. And the more I think about it is I think that Yak really has ripped off Tim Duncan on his push shot because in some ways it's very similar in the way he does it and everything. So, you know, I love this. You know, he went off to college. He came back home after college and and that's really kind of how I look at it. Thank you for the solid Dean Popovich. And thank you, Spurs organization, for teaching our guy. And in some ways, you guys being so kind and nice to us with the college schooling of Jakob Poeltl and bringing him back the way he's come back to be who he is now after the years in San Antonio. You guys did such a nice thing. Well, you get a nice thing back to you, and you have Victor Wembanyama on your team. So, you know, thank you, Spurs Nation. Thank you, Spurs fans. Thank you, Spurs team, Popovich, everybody, Mr. Duncan. Thank you guys for helping young Yak be who he is now. And Raptors fans, you know what? The partnership and the friendship between the Spurs and Raptors franchise is nice because they've always done nice trades with us. And, you know, the fact that, you know, we could do this thing with Poeltl and how things have gone is absolutely awesome. So, yeah, Jakob last night, 8 of 10 from the field. He got 3 of 4 at the free throw line. So take that, chicken heads. Yeah, 3 of 4. He missed only 1 free throw, and you didn't get no chicken. That's right. He also had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal. You know, when your center is getting 4 assists and 1 turnover like a backup point guard would, that's just awesome because the centers are supposed to be a turnover machine if they're handling the ball too much. But no, Yak's getting 4 assists and 1 turnover. That's amazing. That's so good. Yeah, he had 33 minutes and he was a +4. Yeah, good stuff. My 4th star of the game last night is Jacoby Walter. I really was so happy to see Jacoby start getting good things going. And in his interview after the game, he very much mentioned that it starts with his defense, that he has to him around. In some ways, there's very young Ananobi in this. You know, in some ways, it's like this is how we should develop him. I know a lot of people are anxious for Jacoby to get a lot of points and look really good scoring wise. In this recent stretch, he has not looked like that until last night. But you guys got to understand, he's getting the stuff down like on the defensive end. He's such an active player. He's always hustling. He's always going after loose balls and rebounds. And he's definitely always up on the person his defensive assignment is. So in some ways, he's done all this stuff right on the down low this whole time where it seems like he's not been doing well. But he's finally made some shots last night. And that's the thing. When it comes around to this, when his offense starts waking up more, like a young Anunoby went from defense to offense, we're going to see him start to become a fully complete player. But we got to remember, he's a second-year player. And in some ways, once again, we've had a talent infusion on this team. There's somebody on Reddit asking, why is Grady not as good this year as last year? Well, I'll answer you right now. We got better talent on our team, and he's down the hierarchy of who's playing for our team at this point. And you can't expect him to start and get the numbers he got last year because it's a different role for him. And in some ways, like I said, I think Grady and Jacoby would trade losing for a diminished role. And they'd be fine with winning more and not playing as much. Because in some ways, this is better for them in the long run in their careers. They learn how to win with Brandon and RJ and Scotty as leaders. And they get older and they get into new stages of their career. They'll go on to other places or maybe still play for Toronto and do that winning stuff for us. You know, you can look at the nucleus of our championship team and the bench players like Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and look where they've gone to as they've grown as players and the other franchises they play for now. Norman is absolutely the best player on the Miami Heat right now. And OG is doing such great things for New York. We know what Fred's role is in Houston. You know, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, we got to look at it this way. Guys like Baji and Walter and Dick, these guys are in their early development years, and at some point, maybe they'll blow up. And, you know, Grady will be like a Norman Powell in like year 10 or 12. You know what I'm saying? So let everybody kind of grow on their own schedule and allow for the team to be successful. And even if that holds some guys back from getting more minutes or starting or stuff like that, that's the best way to do it because winning will beget winning. And Grady learning how to win this year is much more and playing less is much more better than playing a whole lot and losing a lot. Because in some ways, you're learning losing habits when you're playing so much and you're losing. So that's the way I look at it. So Jacoby, don't give up on Jacoby. He made some threes last night, which was really, really nice to see. 11 points for him, 4 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 from the three, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, but 3 steals also. He was very active in getting out there and being disruptive, along with making some crucial threes at certain times too. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. There's, like Scotty said, the development is not linear, and there's going to be ups and downs. And that's what I'm saying. If you think about Jacoby Walter like OG Anunoby and his path to development, then you can be okay with the lesser offensive outputs, right? Right? Because we know what happened with OG over time, right? Right? +8 for him in 15 minutes. He didn't even play that long. 15 minutes, 11 points. That's great stuff. That's kind of what I wanted from him. I've been saying in the offseason, I'd love to see Walter be like a Mathurin. Is basically we're looking at points per minutes. And even if he plays like 10 minutes, if he gets 10 points in 10 minutes, that's a very helpful offensive burst off the bench. So 5th star of the game last night is Scotty Barnes. Scotty had the best plus minus on the team. Now, he didn't have the best shooting stats, but he had a lot of other good stuff. 8 of 17 for Scott was 16 points. He does not have to score 20 for us to win and be badasses. He missed both his threes. He had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 turnovers. That's why he wasn't a higher star. He did have a lot of turnovers last night. He had a steal and a block also. But yeah, the plus 14 stat is huge. And it points to Scotty being the center of winning for this team. Maybe he's turned the ball over a lot, but he's making winning plays overall, and they're defensive and offensive winning plays. And the other thing I really loved about Scott's game last night is the passing. He was really crisp with his passing, and he was finding people in really awesome situations. And also, to his credit, there were a couple times where he got the ball in the lane, and instead of trying to make an extra pass where he made the mistake before, he actually elevated and took the shot himself. So he's learning in that area. In some ways, he's been too unselfish and trying to make an extra pass to Jakob Poeltl where he's got defenders around him, and he's actually the one who's open, and he makes that extra pass. But he's recognizing now, you know what? If the two guys are on Yak, you go ahead and elevate and take the shot right where you are, Scott, with a nice little one-handed hook or something like that. Yeah, Scotty did look back at the Philadelphia 76ers, trolling at them when he dunked that one point at Jared McCain, blew him a little kiss. And people have posted the thing online of him doing it as a middle school student. He's always done it. But to me, that just proves the point that what Scott's doing is juvenile. But in some ways, if he can get away with it and it's not hurting us winning, I am okay with it. But if it gets in the way of us winning, if it causes something bad to happen that doesn't help us, then I'll be more critical about it because it's not necessary. But in some ways, if it's fun and some people enjoy it, okay, I don't want to be a Scrooge. Y'all go ahead and enjoy it because it's not affecting us winning or not. Honorable mention to Brandon Ingram. I could have easily made him a star of the game. I could have easily done it, of course. And he was great. He was fantastic. He had 22 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 6 of 7 at the free throw line. No chicken. That's right. No rebounds, though, for Brandon. It's weird. 5 assists with 4 turnovers, 31 minutes, a -1. Yeah, he got foul trouble. Did you guys see that last night? Brandon got in foul trouble. He was kind of mad at them for the foul trouble, leaving the court. But in some ways, it was kind of good for us because it gave, I like when, the rotations Darko's doing right now are part of why we're winning too. You guys realize this, right? The way that Darko's keeping guys fresh and changing the combinations is really interesting. In fact, I find every time he makes the substitution, I like to go over who the lineup is. Because often it's like quick shed with quickly and shed out there together, or if it's battle dick formation, or, just different combinations are very intriguing to me because in some ways it's like, how are you balancing always having a starter on the court with the bench? And then also which combinations of the starters are out there with which combinations of the bench. And Kurthika, thank you. She's posted something on Blue Skies that has all the different lineups and their plus minuses for the time they were out there. And it's very illuminating. But I feel like this is a big part of our success right now is the rotations are so fresh with the players coming out. Like if you think about the first rotation we always make is Scotty comes out first. One of the things that they do is Scotty goes all out in the first part of the game. He goes all out to where he tires himself out. He's setting the tone right away with energy right from the start. But because he goes so all out, he's the first one to sit. And last night it was Shed coming in for him. So what was that shift? You take Scotty out, and all of a sudden you've got the quick Shed lineup out there. And with the Sixers and the way they run with a smaller lineup, that looked real good, having Shed and Quickly out there very early. And, it's just a really masterful timing of getting different guys in there at different times. And he's not starving the starters for minutes. They're getting their share of 30-something minutes. And he's also playing it by ear with the bench. Like if Jacoby is playing better and shooting better, he's going to get a little bit more run than Grady on that day. So it's really, really smart how he's doing it. And he has to be flexible because if something like foul trouble for Brandon comes along, well, he has to mix it up a little bit. And instead he has options. Brandon comes out because of foul trouble. Well, Scotty, you're going to have to be the primary guy out there as far as the hub instead of Brandon with the bench in his minutes that he is supposed to play with the bench at that point. But the Brandon bench lineups are really good. That's the other thing I've really enjoyed is, we've had problems in the last couple of years with the Raptors and the bench and the talent just dropping off, especially when Nick was still our coach. We bring in the bench and the talent just drops off. But the really cool thing is we can have a lineup with one starter, and that's Brandon, with 4 bench players, and it's a very sound talent, even like still up to the same standard as all our lineups out there. So the rotations, give so much credit to Coach Darko for making rotations masterfully as far as what's needed in the game and keeping a certain standard of level of excellence and talent and the output and what we're doing on the court. There's no drop off. There's no periods of time in the 48 minutes where we just have a substandard lineup out there. We have a good lineup out there all 48 minutes. And because of the depth of playing a 10-man rotation and keeping guys recycling in and out fresh, by the third quarter, the other team's winded and they can't fucking do shit against us. And we run them off the court and we get a big, huge 44-point quarter like we did last night. So give a huge amount of credit to a very early in the season front runner for Coach of the Year in the NBA, Darko Rajakovic. And they are saying this now. You can hear the NBA people starting to come around saying, Darko looks like Coach of the Year right now. And they just got to take a little time. They'll catch up to Lex at some point. Honorable mention to Grady Dick. I thought that Grady was a real burst of energy out there. And that one steal he had for a dunk was fantastic. And happy birthday, Grady, guys. It's Grady's birthday today. Grady is 22 today. And you know what? He had a nice highlight last night on the game. So honorable mention to Grady on his birthday. 4 points for him, 2 of 4 from the field. He missed both his threes, though. 1 rebound, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers, and 15 minutes of +4. Yeah, happy birthday, Grady. Also, Jamal Shed last night didn't score. Missed all 3 of his threes and missed all 3 of his shots, including a 3. 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 20 minutes for Shed, a -7. Not the sharpest game for Shed, but that doesn't matter because we won. And in some ways, he has a certain standard of leadership and doing things out there that's going to contribute even if his stat line don't look that good. We know that. Jamison Battle in for 3 minutes. He was a +3 with 2 points on 1 made shot, and it was a shot inside. It was a nice little hook in the lane. And that's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing him. But he missed 2 threes on 1 possession. And, that's not normal. We're not used to seeing Jamison not get his shot to go in. Sandro Mamu, 15 minutes of play, 7 points, 2 of 5 from the field, missed both his threes, 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, 2 steals also for Sandro, +5. Yeah, Sandro solid. Once again, I love what I'm hearing from people saying around the league that Sandro Mamukelashvili may be the best value pickup this summer out of all the free agency signings of all the teams this past summer. That some people are waking up and saying that Sandro is the best value pickup out of any team. So Bobby Webster, you looking good. You got the best value pickup in the free agency market. And boy, does your number 9 pick look good too. Yeah. And that Brandon move, wow, you and Masai look like geniuses. Let's just put it that way. That's how it looks. Yeah, so that's basically the box score for the Raptors right there. Oshai was available, but he did not get in. And in some ways, Darko makes the rotation the day before. So often if these guys like Battle or Abaji get healthy the day of the game, they're not going to get the minutes still because Darko's already kind of set up who's going to play the day before, just so you guys know. He lets them know the day before who's playing or not playing. And if you get in and he said you're not playing, that's because there's garbage time. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's keep going with the chat, man. I love seeing this stuff. He's saying, Nako's saying Detroit deserves respect, but they've had an easier schedule than us. Yeah, big, huge part. And this is crazy. Jack said this last night, that the Raptors have now played a quarter of their road games already this season. That's crazy. And in some ways, that's a way to look at it like we can be sustainable for this year is we're getting a lot of our road games out of the way already. And we're going to have way more home. Like right now, we're going on a four-game homestead. We're going to be at home for the next 4 games. And the 2 of them are in-season tournament games. So, yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I can't believe we played so many road games already, and we're second in the East. Sustainable. And that as long as we're healthy, we're going to be all right this year. We're going to get very far. And I honestly, the other thing is about this team is on the down low, our Raptors have a bit more experience than the average young team that's coming up right now. Like even the Pistons. Pistons may have a better record right now. But I would argue that we may have more savvy playoff veteran savviness because of Brandon, Scotty, RJ, and Emmanuel, and even Yak. These guys have been around the league for a while longer than these younger Pistons. And, if we get into the playoffs, which we probably will, we may have a better outcome in the playoffs because of a little bit more experience is what I'm saying right now. It's not necessarily we're a young team. Don't get it twisted. But Garrett Temple skews us a lot. And but we do have very key players that have been in wars already. Emmanuel and RJ did do some stuff with the Knicks in the playoffs already. We know Scotty's gotten a taste of the playoffs. We know Scotty understands what the playoffs is going to be like. And Brandon Ingram, hello, he's just dying to play in the playoffs again and do stuff like he could show them. That's right. Trevor J's bringing this up. I'm going up to New York next week for a Raptors game against the Knicks. Okay, so you're going to be there on that Sunday, on the end of the month, on the 30th, Trevor. You're going to be in there. RFF will be in the house at Madison Square Garden in the form of the great Trevor Jones. Going to be in there holding it down for us in there and let us know what's going on from inside. All right, Trevor, let's go. That's going to be a really important game. That game at the end of the month, us versus the Knicks, the first time we play them this season. That's right. Let's set the tone against our Atlantic Division rival. That's right. Let's set the tone. Trevor, I'm glad you're going to that game. Let's see. Scotty blew a kiss at Grimes before he dunked the ball. I think that was McCain. Like, this is the crazy thing. All right, when I see Quentin Grimes on the court when Scotty's around, it's like he is not him. That whole thing that happened a couple years ago. You know, I feel like in some ways Grimes gets up for playing against Scott because of this whole thing. And he did have a good game. He's actually been a very good bench player for the Sixers so far this year. He's averaging around 17 points per game. But yeah, he was annoying last night. Every time he scored, I told my dad, I was like, man, that dude is so annoying. Quentin Grimes. He is so annoying, man. He had 21 points off the bench, 7 of 15, 4 of 8 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line. Yeah, he was annoying. Maxey, obviously, amazing. But this is the crazy thing. Like, all right, Embiid didn't play, obviously. He hadn't played since we played him the last time. And he's hurt, obviously. The Sixers are in trouble, man. They're trending in the wrong direction. They came out the gates, won 4 in a row, and now they're losing more than they're winning. And Joel Embiid, I don't know when he's coming back. Paul George didn't want to play last night. He was sitting in street clothes, and it's on Maxey's shoulders. And Maxey, in some ways, man, they need to be careful. They're going to wear that man out himself. Is this crazy? That man's full tilt, full balls to the wall speed all the time. And I worry. I mean, at that one point when he was laying on the ground in the middle of the free throw lane last night, I was like, oh shit, if Maxey's hurt for them, they're fucked. Seriously. Because he's the end all be all for everything for them right now. And man, what a talent, man. I have to just gush and talk about Tyrese Maxey for a second, just in awe of him as, you know, a rival of our team. He is so good. Like the way he stops on a dime and makes shots is just insane. Like that shouldn't be able to be a possible thing in the dynamic of physics, that the man can stop like that and gauge his shot quick enough in that split second with momentum, him going forward and just get that gauge just right to make it go in. That's insane. And not only that, it's not even close to the line. He's doing this shit from 3-4 feet back from the line. It's crazy. And then even some of the inside scores he had last night, just amazing. Sixers fans, he is definitely your best player. And, man, I would love to have Tyrese Maxey on my team. But you know what? I got Quickly on my team. And that's great, too. That's right. Maxey, only 24 points. I thought he had way more points the way he was so big out there. And I was even telling my dad last time we were watching the game, I was like, watch, Maxey will have like half the points for the Sixers tonight. Watch. But he didn't. In some ways, there's a little bit more balance. VJ Edgecombe was interesting. He's definitely a rookie. He came out there and he had some amazing athleticism. I mean, some of those dunks he did were fantastic. He looks kind of like a throwback Robert Pack to me. You guys remember Robert Pack? The way he used to elevate and dunk. Like there's a little bit of Robert Pack and VJ Edgecombe. And the thing that was fun for me with VJ was he got blocked by Scott a couple times last night. That was fun. Welcome to the NBA, rookie. Come on in the lane and try and score on us with your little razzle dazzle. Nah, Scotty's here. Get out of here. That shit was fun. I love seeing Scott block Edgecombe. But yeah, he's a talent. He's a talent. It's weird too because he really does look like a young puppy. Like he's very much a rookie, and his body's going to change. He's going to be a much stronger player and a very interesting player as he progresses, as he gets older. So yeah, nice rookie in VJ Edgecombe. To me, in some ways, he's more of a athlete than a shooter because some of his shots didn't look good. But you know what? He's way better than Scoot Henderson. I'll say that. He's way better than Scoot Henderson. Andre Drummond is annoying, man. And Kate Scott, the announcer for the Sixers, kept going, it's solo drum roll, every time he dunked. Yeah, Andre Drummond's annoying, but yeah, he was on my fantasy team. At least I get something from that, you know. At the beginning of the game, I saw Justin Edwards making fun of Sean Corbin, the referee. I don't think that helped the Sixers with the whistle. Sean Corbin does a stretching routine before the game where he does a little bit of yoga posing and doing stuff like this with his legs. And Justin Edwards, they caught it on camera in the warm-up. He was pointing at Sean Corbin and mocking him. I'm like, young man, that is not the way to get on the referee's good side. And I'm sure Sean Corbin saw y'all doing that. So, yeah, Justin Edwards, you're immature. And you might have hurt your team with the call last night because I saw it through the TV that you were mocking referee Sean Corbin for his pre-game ritual of stretching and doing yoga poses. And well, that ain't good to do. Trust me. No. I thought the refs were pretty good last night. Tyler Ford is by the book, and he's very fair to the Raptors. He's not one of these guys that downgrades us. If there's a foul on RJ, he'll call it. And thank God, because there was fouls on RJ last night. Yeah. Let's keep going. Jimmy Pope is here. Good to see the Pope of positivity. Jimmy Pope, great to see him back in the Raptor Freak chat. When I think of the Pistons and us, I think about the Zoolander meme. If you know, you know. We were baby. We were here, baby. Oh, wait, we here, baby. Hang on. Why did it jump ahead, too? Make sure I'll get all y'all's comments. We here, baby. Officially the 2 seed. Let's fucking go. What is that, gas fight or something like that? I don't know the Zoolander meme, so I don't know if I can understand it. The Pistons are interesting. In some ways, we got some stuff to get out on the Pistons. It's weird, though. We're not going to play them for a while. Like, they're one of the teams that we just don't see until January. Honestly, guys, it's crazy. So this is the interesting thing about Detroit. Now, right now, they're flying high. Woo-wee! Like Gerald said, they had an easier schedule than us so far this season. What happens when we get to see them in January finally? What are they going to be at that time? I don't know. There's no guarantee they'll be at the top of the East. There's no guarantee they'll be winning at the same clip. There's a whole bunch of things that can happen in 2 months before we get to that point. So we may be very lucky that in some ways we're not playing Detroit at the beginning of the season because they're just on a really good hot streak right now. And who knows? Maybe they'll be a little cooled off by the time we finally face them in January. So, that's one of the things about the schedule. It's like, sure, we would have loved to play the Spurs when Wemby was out. You don't pick and choose when you get to play which team. Yeah, we had to play Embiid, one of the few teams that had to play Embiid this year, and we lost to him. So it's like, who's to say where the Pistons are going to be around January when we finally see them? That'll be fun. We'll have to see. Yeah, let's see. Nako saying Nick Nurse getting angry is something I love to see these days. Also, love to see Maxey so chummy with all of us. Maxey's funny, man. There was one point where Scotty did kind of the thing where he's probably joking about hugging him at the All-Star. And it's kind of on an inbounds play. They do this sometimes. They'll all crowd Maxey. And Scotty will literally hold him. And it's totally illegal. It's a foul. But he was doing that shit last night. Talking about Nick Nurse, though. Yeah, it's fun to, knowing Nick so well from him being our coach for so many years and really analyzing him and understanding who he is as a person and a coach. It's really fun because he's such a competitor. And honestly, he did not want to lose to the Raptors. He never wants to lose to us. Now, what is going on in Nick Nurse's head right now? Man, Darko's really got them playing right. Holy crap, look at Brandon. Look at how good he is. Oh, my gosh. Wow, this team's amazing. I wish I had shooters like this when I was coaching the team. That's probably what he's thinking. Seriously, he's like, when Nick was coaching our team, he lamented we didn't have very good shooters and sometimes. And he's right. We had a very bad shooting percentage. But now, most of the Raptors games, the Raptors as a team are shooting over 50%. And there's no more of this kind of stagnant shooting problems. We have a very good offense now. And in some ways, maybe Nick Nurse is thinking, man, I wish I had had an offensive team like this when I was coaching the Raptors. He could very well be thinking that. He was weird. He got really pissed off at the refs last night. He was going off on Tyler Ford at a couple times. And at the end of the game, he stared at Tyler and just shook his head like this at him. Like he was not happy with the calls last night, which is stupid because the calls were very fair. And I didn't see anything really goofy right there. It's just him. I think that in some ways early in Tyler's career with Nick as a coach, he kind of bullied him around. This is something that Nick Nurse has done throughout the years. He used to bully Evan Scott all the time too. And I think he pushed Tyler Ford around maybe when he was a younger ref. Tyler's tougher now. And in some ways, I guess maybe some of the Nick Nurse kind of mind games he does with the refs where he kind of gets abrasive with them and yells at them. It just didn't work at this point with Tyler Ford because he's confident in what he's doing. And he's an older ref now. And I think that was a big part of it. And in some ways, Nick shaking his head at Tyler at the end of the game is kind of yeah, maybe you're shaking your head because you don't have the power over him like you used to. And it's part of the reason why Tyler Ford has such a winning record with the Raptors is because, he's been always kind to us. And especially when Nick was our coach, he was. But yeah, that was interesting. Old butthole face, getting a little buttholey facey. And I think on the Philadelphia sweats that they're wearing, Rico Hines and all them, with the little circle around there, I like to think that symbolizes the butthole mouth of Nick Nurse going, when he's not happy with a referee's call. But yeah, I didn't see no post-game conference with him. I was looking forward to it. I was like, I want to hear what Nick has to say after this game. But Philadelphia didn't post no post-game interview with Nick Nurse last night. And damn it, I wanted to hear him. I did listen to him in the pregame interview before the game. And yeah, in some ways he's got respect for our team. He really does. I mean, it's got to be a weird, bittersweet kind of thing. But, that's all on him, man. To me, he is the Kevin Durant of coaches. Kevin Durant did that shit to the Oklahoma City Thunder and went to Golden State and trying to chase a ring, right? Well, that's the same damn thing Nick Nurse did to us. He sabotaged his career here in Toronto. The last year he was here, he did not try and coach us right. He let division and weird shit happen underlying, and Masai had to fire him. And it was all the plan because Daryl Morey really wanted him to coach the Sixers. And they had made this plan a year before he came to them. The last year that Nick was coaching our team, he was a lame duck and had his eye on Philadelphia already. And not many Raptors fans know that. And that's why I love this outcome for him. He thought, fool's gold. I'm going to go coach Maxey and Embiid, and I'm going to be at the top of the league, and I'm going to be winning championships with them. Nah, man, you can go as far as Nick Nurse. You're going to go as far as Joel Embiid's knee is going to be how far you go every single year, and you get what you get. Okay? Just like Jack Armstrong said, you get what you get. Because seriously, you try to take a shortcut. You try to coach snake us like Kevin Durant did to Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, you get what you get, Nick Nurse. And I don't feel bad for you at all. In fact, if you had sat tight and maybe, you just needed a change of scenery anyway because things had just worked out to the way that they had through Tampa and the pandemic and everything, that it just needed to be a shakeup, just like Sandy Brondello had to leave the New York Liberty this year. I get that. But in some ways, he probably does think in his mind, man, I could have been the Spoelstra. I could have been the Popovich in Toronto. And maybe I would be in this cycle with Scott at this point where he's progressed to in this year, in his 5th year in the league, and becoming the winning player that he is. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, Nick. You'll never know. And part of it is Rich Paul, Clutch, and Daryl Morey's fault for enticing you to say, what are you doing up in Toronto, Nick, wasting your life? That bullshit, man. And I wish more Raptors fans knew this. Now, I love you, Nick. I want to celebrate you when you're retired, but as long as you're on the enemy's side, fuck you, is what I say to you, Nick Nurse. That's what I say right there. That's right. Let's keep going. Paul B's here. Good to see our guy holding it down in the great state of Wisconsin. Paul B is a Raptor freak. That's right. Raptors are out on a 5-game winning streak, but Lex is on a 1,300 episode streak. It's actually 1,500 episode streak. I've done 4 years in a row of doing a stream every single day since 2021. Basically, when Scotty came in the league, I started this show, and I have done this show his whole entire career so far. So yeah, I think today's 1,530 technically, 1,530 streams in consecutive days. So I appreciate you, Paul, putting that on blast right there. I really do appreciate it. Give the stream a big thumbs up, everybody. Thanks for all your hard work, Lex, and keeping the fan base sane and positive. In some ways, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I want to think that some ways the way I think about things in the Toronto sports market has helped us open up the room to be successful. We can have a cynical mindset like the classic Toronto sports fan has had because of Leafs failures, because of things with the Blue Jays, because of whatever team. But in some ways, I'm like, no, we don't need to build that culture around the Raptors because in some ways we are winners. Masai Ujiri brought us that culture, guys. And in some ways, we can't carry ourselves in some of the same ways that Leaf Nation will because that's cynical and it will shoot ourselves in the foot. So allow yourself to have a positive place to grow into success. And that's what we're doing right here. Paul B, I love you, man. And thank you for all your help with this channel in the past and production. I appreciate you, man. Cool Cat is here. The coach, Cool Cat, is here. #1 Pascal Siakam fan. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Let's celebrate team wins. It's been a long time coming. It's really nice to see because for people like Darko, there's been so much doubt. There's been so much like, let's just look at his record as a coach and diss him. You can make really shallow casual takes just from numbers on a page. But if you're not actually looking at what's happening and the vibe and the machinations he's starting to build and how they could lead to things that are absolutely successful, like currently, you will make very casual takes, very shallow takes that are just not accurate. And I've seen this, the way he's been building this team passing system and the way it could come about. And I'm like, man, this is really kind of cool because over time, this could really become so good as they really gel and they get more time together. Last year sucked because we should have had way more time together, but because of injuries, we didn't have time together. And in some ways, it's been delayed. But now things are kind of all coming together right time. Quickly is healthy. Brandon is here. And yeah, we're a real power. And we've got weapons. We've got versatile weapons. And in some ways, you got to whack that mole over in that whack-a-mole corner. Well, there's another whack-a-mole jumping up over here. You can't hit them all because Brandon, RJ, Scotty, Emmanuel quickly, Jakob Pertl, these guys are all popping up. And then we bring in guys on the bench, and they can be a problem all of a sudden. Grady Dick is still a very feared three-point shooter along with Jamison Battle. And you have those guys out there. They have to worry about them too. So it's a defensive coordinator's nightmare in this league for other teams. Our team right now, it really is like that. It's amazing. I love it so much. Here's Fiercey. Good to see MJ, Scotty Barnes, Switch Family 2022. That's right. We were there. We were square, and we were there with Scotty watching him play the 2K. That's right. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. I don't know what Darko hypes up the players at halftime, but man, our third quarters beat fire. I think that it's a combination of things. You know, they are very much watching the first half with an eagle eye and saying, this is what we need to, you know, too many offensive rebounds. These guys are making too many offensive rebounds on the other side. We got to rededicate to boxing out, finding our man and making sure we get the rebounds. The big key stat last night at halftime was we only had 2 3-pointers at half. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the Raptors? They only got 2 threes at halftime? That's crazy. So it was really important that the Raptors came out and made more threes in the second half. And they did. There's probably like, these are the kind of things that are coming to them and saying, like, you guys only made 2 threes in the first half. Can you guys try and make more threes in the second half? You know, and then boom, 44-point third quarter. You know, the adjustments are for real, Fiercey. And Darko has specific goals or specific things for them to do. Certain individual players, hey, you got to go do this more in the second half. They're utilizing things and they're coaching them. And the adjustments are made. And the great thing is our players really trust our coaching staff because they see the success that they give them and they make it to order. Like I said, they're just like a kitchen. What do you want on your burger, Darko? I want a little bit more offensive rebounding and maybe some threes. Okay, you get it ordered. And the players are so smart and they're so talented that they can literally make that adjustment for them. And they're not dummies. Like some players will be like, oh, what'd you say, coach? And it just doesn't register. And then they don't do anything in the second half. If Darko and Jama and Pat Delaney and them were coming to them and saying, guys, you need to do this more and this, they're listening and they're executing. And that shows the aptitude, that shows a willingness to listen and a willingness to go do it fucking right then. Because that's one of the things Darko said in the last week. He said, when we ask these guys to change things or do things, they don't wait. They do it right then. And that's a really good strength for our team. The trust between the coach and the players. And the fact that the players will be molded like clay at a moment's notice as the game adjusts. Because the games aren't going to go the same way every night. And there's going to be certain things that are going to be obstacles that are going to come up in their way. And they're going to have to adjust. And when we're quicker on our feet because our guys are bought in and they're like, yeah, coach, I got you. And then boom, they do it. And that's part of our success right now. It's a big, big deal right now. I love it, man. I love it so much. Shaq Lindsay saying Jacoby is slowly figuring it out. Yeah. Like, honestly, the most important thing for Jacoby Walter is his defense right now. The offensive stuff will develop and come later. And we know it's there. He's a good shooter. In some ways, I want to see him get more lift on his inside shots because I feel like he's too tethered to the ground sometimes with his shots near the basket. He's easier to block. I'd like to see him actually leap off the ground to try and make some of the within 10 feet shots because he's very anchored to the ground in some weird ways with his offense near the basket. It's very weird. It's very weird. I want to see him get up there. Cool Cat's saying this. Bravo to Lex, 1,300 episodes. He's 1,500. It's 1,500, y'all. That's right. 1,500. That's right. I appreciate it, guys. And I can't do this without you guys. Seriously, I'd be just a weird, old, crazy man talking to himself on the computer without the Raptor Freak family. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's see. Nako's saying somebody called Jason Voorhees. Yeah, you know what? Let me switch gears a little bit since you brought up scariness, and we'll talk about Chucky for a second, guys. In the 905 game yesterday, Chucky Hepburn blew up, and he had his best game so far this season for the 905 in 5 games. He is my star of the game in the 905. The man was awesome. You guys watched the game with me yesterday in the morning. It was awesome. 30 points for Chucky on 11 of 18 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 8 assists with 1 turnover, 2 steals in 29 minutes plus 15. Yeah, Chucky's offense has been kind of bad, not going to lie. He's been fantastic on defense, and he's been very good at passing. But his own offense and shooting so far this 905 season was not very good until yesterday. And man, so good to see him show up. So he's my star of the game for the 905 victory yesterday. My second star is the other two-way, Elijah Martin. Now listen to this, guys. Elijah Martin, AJ Lawson, and Chucky Hepburn, the 3 two-ways for the Raptors yesterday against Greensboro Swarm, had a collective 12 of 22 from 3 yesterday. The 3 of them were 12 of 22. That's better than 50% shooting. 12 of 22 from 3 between those 3 players. And they really were the driving force for the win for the 905 against the Swarm yesterday. So Elijah was my second star. He was 7 of 11 himself with 20 points, 3 of 5 from 3, 2 of 4 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, but 5 steals also for Elijah. He was very, very active in getting the passing lanes and being disruptive. So good job on that, Elijah. So he's my second star. The third star for me is AJ Lawson, who once again hit a very crucial 3 right at the end of the game where it was a tied game and we needed to go ahead. And it wasn't the last shot that was the dagger, but it was definitely one of the daggers that helped them win. But AJ, 27 points yesterday in the school game against the Greensboro Swarm, 9 of 16 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 turnovers, and 3 steals in 36 minutes, a +1 for AJ Lawson. Yeah, the 3 two-ways are 3 best players in the 905 win yesterday. Other 2 stars from the game for me, Julian Reese continues to impress. Infamous came in and saw him for a second. He's like, Lex, you're right. This guy is a bona fide 4, a classic power forward with his size and strength and rebounding and block shots. He just is a load. And man, in the first half yesterday, Juju Reese, the younger brother of Angel Reese, was very green and rookie mistakes, fouls, turnovers, stupid shit. But in the second half, in the third quarter, he was a huge factor in turning the game around because it was close. We were losing most of the game. The Swarm were beating our ass in this first half. And then we turned the game around in the third quarter, just like the Raptors did against Philly last night. And Julian Reese was a big part of it in the middle there. He came in off the bench and got 10 points, 5 of 6 shooting with 3 rebounds and 3 turnovers, and he was a +8. But he was just a big physical factor. And some of the points that he made in that stretch were part of what got us separation and away from the Greensboro Swarm. So, yeah, big-time stuff. And my last star of the game is an unsung hero, a guy who's been very solid for the 905 so far this season, and that's David Roddy. David Roddy came out there and got 7 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 turnover. Was a +11 off the bench in 21 minutes. You know, he's doing a lot of intangibles. He's a very smart player, and his veteranness from being in the league a couple of years already is very helpful to the 905. Some honorable mentions. I'll go ahead and give Olivier Sarr an honorable mention for 6 points, a 3 of 6 shooting. He was 0 for 2 from 3. He missed his only free throw. 6 rebounds, though, 1 assist, 1 turnover in 26 minutes, a +7. Jonathan Mobo, a tough game. Some stat stuffing for him, 8 points on 2 of 6 shooting. He made all 3 of his free throws, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block in 29 minutes, a -15. So Jonathan wasn't playing winning minutes out there in some ways. Off the bench, Tyson Degenhart came in for 12 minutes. He hustled around, got 4 rebounds, and that's it. Really, he didn't get any other stats. AJ Hogarth came in for 5 minutes at the end of the game, didn't collect the stat. Tyreek Key, 7 points on 3 of 8 shooting, missed all 3 of his threes, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a -6 in 14 minutes. And then Jarkel Joyner, 9 points. He was pretty good. Honorable mention for Jarkel Joyner, 4 for 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block for the former Skyhawk in 19 minutes. But yeah, Raptors 905, great job coming back against a very tough Greensboro Swarm team that was kind of kicking your ass for the first half of the game. But they turned it around and came back, and that showed discipline, and it also showed the depth, once again, of the Raptors 905, just like the Raptors. And I was just describing, they're about 10 deep, and that's very helpful against teams that are maybe only 7 or 8 deep in the G League or in the NBA right now. And then both the Raptors and Raptors 905 have that depth, and there's a lot of parallels from the 905 to the Raptors right now. So I hope you'll join me tonight for game number 2 against Greensboro Swarm, 7 p.m. on YouTube, free in Canada. Raptors 905 against Greensboro Swarm once again. Yeah, it should be a good one. Should be a good one. Yeah, on the other side, I'll give some kudos to Terrell Brown Jr., 25 points for the Swarm. 22 points for Eric Dixon off the bench. Number 43 was bombing those threes at the end, trying to get them to win. And then former Utah Jazz Keontae Johnson had 21 points in the game also yesterday. So, yeah, good win by the 905 over Greensboro Swarm. We did a call on it. This is here. Yeah, Chucky. Let's go. G saying, Scotty said, mwah. Yeah, Scotty, you're interesting, man. Let me go look at the Instagram stories because that's where this is too. Kyle Lowry was at the game last night on the Philadelphia bench, and he was palling around with Paul George. We saw him a couple times, but on his Instagram, he's not posting anything about the Raptors or Philly on there. He's posting Carter King. That's right, his son Carter in action, and an action photo with Drake playing as the music over it. So maybe a sly underlying nod to Toronto and the Raptors through playing Drake on his son's highlight reel there. Jared Rhoden's on the move, guys. His Paris team is going to play in Athens and then going to Dubai. So Jared officially is that European basketball player playing his European basketball part of his career. So we wish luck to former Raptor Jared Rhoden as he travels to Athens, Greece with the Paris, France basketball club very, very soon right now. That's right. Jacoby Walters putting on blast that win from last night. And he has posted the thing that Scotty did last night, blowing a kiss. It's like, look, because there is footage, and I seen this when Scott came in the league, of Scotty turning around and looking back at people before he dunks. This is a signature thing he's done since middle school. There's an old mixtape of Scotty doing this when he's so goofy and young. And it's cute. It's cute to see him do that. But once again, my stance on this is it's juvenile to do. It's unnecessary. And an old head like me is like, yeah, this is just unnecessary stuff. But if he enjoys it, it's not taken away from the game, I'm not going to get mad at it. Because I know some of y'all out there really do love the troll behavior of Scotty Barnes. But in some ways, I'm like, dude, as soon as he gets caught because he's doing some goofy looking back stuff and he misses a dunk because of that, then I'll come down on him for it. But if he's cleanly making the dunks and that's not an issue if he looks back, then I won't be mad at him. But that's the one thing I care about, Scott. So don't mess up like that. Seriously. But yeah, Jacoby reposted Scotty blowing the kiss at Jared McCain, and then also the middle school clip of him doing the same damn thing. Yeah, he's done it forever. I get it. It still doesn't make it right, even if it's fun, right? Norman Powell, man, he should have been an all-star last year, honestly, for the Clippers instead of James Harden. But, man, he's making a strong case down in Miami right now that he's going to be an Eastern all-star this year. I don't know. He would be on the USA team, I guess. We got Jamal Shed entering the game last night, and there's the win, the total for the win. There's the highlight of RJ getting that dunk on Andre Drummond, who hit him in the face afterwards. Yeah, don't jump with RJ. He made it. In some ways, he posterized it, as Emmanuel said after the game, on your head, Andre Drummond. On your head. That's right. That's right. But, yeah, lots of great highlights in Philadelphia last night, the city of brotherly love. And I think the best highlight for me is that they don't play that stupid-ass game they play at the end of the game when they win, when we beat their ass in their home arena. It's all quiet and sad in there. And all the Sixers fans just leave instead of hearing that goofy song they play at the end of the game whenever they win. I love that. That's awesome. RJ Barrett's also posted Scotty blowing the kiss, and he's laughing at it too. He thinks Scotty's funny for doing that. Oshai celebrating the win for the team last night. This is a new thing. The Raptors, after the last two wins, are taking team photos in the locker room. We had a photo with the two ways on Monday, and Jonathan Mobo included it. So all 17 of the current Raptors were in the photo against Charlotte in Toronto. But they did another team photo last night in Philadelphia. And, of course, Jonathan and the two ways are in Greensboro. So they aren't in this one. But they're doing this now. And I think that this is really an interesting sign how together they are, guys. Because think about this. How often are we getting complete team photos? We get them at Media Day, right? When the whole team comes in and they get their picture taken for different stuff on Media Day. Often after games, these guys are maybe off doing their own things. Maybe they get done at different times. They take off. To corral them all to get a team photo after each game like this, that's showing that they're really solid with each other and that they're ready and they're jumping in and they all want to be in it. You know, nobody's missing in these team photos. They're all coming in 100% of the Raptors, and they're standing, and Grady's doing his goofy pose, and Jacoby's got a fun smile and all this stuff. But these pictures are really telling of the team unity and the vibes right now, guys. That I want them to continue to take team photos in the locker room after the game, because it really is showing that they are all for one, one for all, win for all. And I love it, man. And Emmanuel loves his guys, is what he's saying on his Instagram right now with that team photo. That's right. Sandro Mamu enjoying the victory. W, check mark. That's right, Sandro. And his fit coming in. Kelly Olynyk is enjoying being on the Spurs more and more. It looks like they went to a night out with the season ticket members of the Spurs, and the Spurs were there, and they were at the golf place where they hit the golf balls. And yeah, Kelly is palling around with some of the Spurs fans. It looks like there's Frank Cornett and Bismack also involved with the fans there. Grady Dick is showing the highlight of his steal last night in the dunk, the dunking it on Quentin Grimes. I love that shot. That's the picture for the stream today, the overhead shot of Grady dunking on Grimes. Matt Devlin's call for Brandon Ingram's dunk against Charlotte on Monday is getting a lot of play all over the NBA and getting a lot of respect. In some ways, man, the reviews from our game on Monday from casual, random, average NBA fan across the league is the Raptors jerseys are awesome. The Raptors court is awesome. Brandon Ingram's amazing. Wow, the Raptors announcer is really good at the call. Notorious BI3, that's amazing nickname. The reviews for Raptors-related stuff this week from average NBA player or fan around the league is the Raptors have cool shit. They have cool shit. They got that Vince Carter logo, dunking logo, court again. And look at those City Edition jerseys this year. Wow, those are nice. Man, I wish my team was as swaggy and awesome as the Toronto Raptors. In some ways, that's how fans around the NBA are feeling right now. And they also feel real good, interested about the Brandon Ingram effect right now. Seriously, they're taking us seriously right now. Seriously, he's bringing us bona fide respect, just like Kawhi and Vince did before. That's right. Jamison Battles got the score from last night. Elijah Martin's got some footage of – what game is this? Is this a – oh, this is their game against Greensboro Swarm. Yeah, let's go, Elijah Martin. That's right. He had a good game. He really did. Lloyd is posted some highlight reel of – this is a crazy thing. Lloyd has a YouTube channel that has all this footage of Scotty and them behind the scenes, and nobody knows about it. Seriously, Raptors fans, if you're watching me right now and you haven't watched me much, this is the kind of shit you'll learn from me. Lloyd has a YouTube channel that has like 136 views on the – I'm beating him on his views on his YouTube channel. And it's got all this footage of Scotty and his personal life with his friends and the entourage and the travels to the Philippines, to Spain, to Greece. And if you guys want that inside look at Scotty and his entourage and his friends and what they're doing, you have to get Lloyd's YouTube channel. So you got to find it, man. Follow Lloyd, and then you get the link to there because he has all this crazy footage of Scotty just being friends with Jonathan and Jay Simpson and Nardo and all his crew, Nick. And, you can learn so much about Scott if you're a huge fan of Scott's, if you follow his friend Lloyd. He has a YouTube channel with unedited footage. It's crazy. There's so much stuff on there people don't even know about because it's got no views. There's literally like 150 views on these videos, and nobody knows about it. It's crazy. I don't get it. CBL has an Insider Monthly app that you can sign up for and you get insider knowledge on the CBL every time. Raptors has officially said happy birthday to Grady Dick. Happy 22nd birthday, Grady. That's right. Colin Murray Bulls have put on blast Chucky Hepburn for his 30-piece. Yesterday against the Greensboro Swarm. Serge Ibaka is in a rehabilitation day in Florida, in Miami. He's on recovery day at Center Wellness, but he's also back at Remy's with the weightlifting and on the court. And, man, he looks like he's in really good shape. Bobby, call Ibaka. Get him to be the big. If you don't want to get somebody from the league, just bring back Serge because Serge would be a great addition as long as he's not holding up the team bus because it's moisturizing. Everything else will be good about Serge coming in as a leader and being around this team as a big, bad man who can help throw things around in the lane. A.J. Lawson celebrating the win for his team yesterday, 905, and he's got his stat line there, 27 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Just good stuff by A.J. yesterday for sure. Yeah, he's loving it too, man. Childhood dream, man from Brampton in the Raptors organization. What's not to like, man? Seriously, he's coming up too. He's going to be on the main squad soon. Watch. That's right. Andrew Jones, very happy with the outcome of his team last night. Posted it on his Instagram. Yeah, that's about it right here on the Instagram stories. Very much celebrations is what's going on right now with the Raptors and their various things that they're doing right now with winning right now. It's very, very good. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying my 7 stars are the starting 5 plus Jacoby and Mamu. Raptors 905 are also doing great. Happy for them. Yeah, they're doing fantastic. They're not doing great. They're perfect. They're perfect. They are so good. And seriously, people don't watch the G League team. Try them out tonight. You probably really will enjoy watching them play Greensboro. It's a tough task to beat the same team two days in a row, though, especially on their home court. We'll have to see how it goes. Shaq Lindsay's here. What do you think's going on with Oshai? He's not injured, and he was the DMP the last 3 games. I hope they don't treat him like Chris last year. No, that's not what that is. He was hurt the last couple games. He was not injured last night. This is the first game he was not injured. The other games he was not able to play because of his back. So he was scratched. He was on the injured list the other 2 games that he hasn't played. But last night he was available. But as I said earlier, they make the rotation the night before, and he wasn't in the plans for last night, even if he was available. But he'll be in the plans for the next game. Watch. I'll bet you he'll be in the rotation on Friday against Washington. So, yeah, don't worry about this. And in some ways, you know what? Look, there could be a couple of different ways this could be looked at. Oshai, in some ways, is due an extension. And in some ways, he's got to be made a decision on no matter what out of all our players. He is somebody we're going to have to decide whether we're keeping or not. And if we didn't give him the extension in the offseason, it's not likely we're going to give him the extension. And so that means that in some ways, playing him right now to get more reps with our team, if he's not a long-standing piece that we're going forward with, what's the point, right? So I don't know, man. I know you could say, I hope they don't do it to him like Boucher, but in some ways that's smart in management if he's not long-term plans after all. They may have to play him a bit just to showcase his talents for trade value and see where he is on the market. But I still feel like Oshai, unfortunately, out of all the Raptors, is the most likely to get traded because, we've got these young guys that are really emerging as stars and they have potential to get better and better. And Oshai does too. But in some ways, his crossroads for decisions on his extension and his money are way sooner than Jacoby's or Grady's. And that's part of it also. So we're just going to have to see how Bobby handles this. But in some ways, I'm not going to question Bobby and Darko on what they do and why they decide not to play somebody like we did with Chris last year. In some ways, it's just how they got to do things. And we love Chris Boucher. He'll always be a Raptor champion forever. And that's what matters there. That's right. Fiercely saying this, number 2 in the East. Let's go. Yeah, maybe we'll be number 1 at some point. Maybe we will be. That's right. Fiercely saying at Seymour, we got the call. Yeah, if anybody else wants to call and they have the number, you can call me on the show today and get your opinions voiced through the phone. That's right. Nako's saying people clown on us, telling us we shouldn't have kept the Pacers pick. There's no way the pick would have the same impact as Ingram. Well, that's the thing, Gerald. Whatever is the detriment, the criticism, whatever is the negative side of things, that's the side people want to shine on us. So now the very positive things about Brandon is coming out like this, and now they're going to come back and say that. That's crazy. This is just negative people just trying to be dark clouds and Debbie Downers. And honestly, don't give them your attention. If that's somebody saying that, who's saying that to you? Ignore them. Ignore them. That's what I say. Yeah, even with the Pacers' current state. Let's see. Isaac's saying this. Sometimes you got to look back from where you just come from and blow a kiss. That's what this is, the words of wisdom from Scotty Barnes. Sometimes you just got to look back from where you just came from and blow a kiss. I like that. That seems like a weird word of wisdom. And it's actually really deep in some ways. All right, Isaac. That's so goofy. I love it. That's right. 152 for Isaac on the dunk charts. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. That seems like that's a word of wisdom, right? You're just saying this. Darko has proven great team chemistry helps. Off-season activities created bonds. Also, shout out to Masai and Bobby, who carefully added key pieces to our roster, people of character, hard workers, and IQ. Yeah, I mean, we built things right. We're not rushing to build things. If some people in Raptors Nation had their way, we would go and get shiny toys that don't make sense, that are expensive. They just look good because they're talented, and people think that just makes us better. No, there's no shortcuts in this. And in some ways, the plan and the way we do things is methodical, and it's built to last, and it's built for success. And if we did things the way people want to, like tanking or going to get Ja Morant or Kevin Durant, that shit would not work. And we'd find ourselves going through patterns of toxic shit like other teams do, and we see all the time. I can tell you where other rosters and other franchises are screwing up because they tried to cut corners. But with us, I can tell you why we're doing things fundamentally and foundationally right, that no matter what happens, we're going to be successful. Because if you do it the right way and you take the time and the patience to actually do it the right way, you're guaranteed success. And that's the way that Emmanuel and Jacoby think in their real lives, like everyday lives. It's like, we are doing this the right way. And I know if I do this the right way, I'm going to be successful no matter what. That's the mantra personally of Emmanuel Quickly and Jacoby Walter. So that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. You got to build it right. And there's no shortcuts. And other teams and franchises try to do shortcuts, get a big free agency pickup. Paul George. Okay. Yeah, you're going to win because you got Paul George, Philadelphia. Sounds like fool's gold to me. Sounds like you didn't build it right and you're trying to go on a shortcut. That's what that is right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I hope Philly fans are watching me right now. That's right. That's what I was saying. You try to do a shortcut with Paul George. It never works that way. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Let's see. Wayne's here. Good to see Sergeant Wayne Strainer, the Sergeant at Arms of the channel. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Beautiful game right through. Referees were kind of predictable on one issue. Let them hit the Raptors as much as they want. Expectations are high for Darko to get us to the final. I liked the refs last night. The veteran crew of Corbin and Wood and Ford was fantastic. Tyler Ford is very much a very fair ref. To me, he calls it right down the middle. I have no problem with what they did last night. I feel like he was very, very by the book. And the two older refs are just a delight. Seriously, Sean Corbin, I've had my ups and downs with, but I have immense respect for the former NBA player, Leon Wood. And, this is the thing. Leon Wood's not going to be reffing for many more years. And in some ways, this is kind of like, let's give the older ref his respect and enjoy him while he's around still. And yeah, these are good guys. Honestly, they were a good ref crew last night. And once again, even if the refs are slightly against us in games recently, we are overcoming them also. Like that Charlotte game, for damn sure, they were trying to help the Hornets on Monday night. But last night, it seemed a little bit more even. And in some ways, I knew we would have a fair shot as soon as I saw the refs yesterday to beat Philadelphia in their own arena last night, because I didn't see any problematic refs in the ref report. And that's what I'm really looking for. Where are the problematic refs? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep going. Fiercey's saying this, he's also saying expectations are high for Darko to get us to the final. Yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens by the end of the year. These guys are thinking playoffs already. Brandon's already said it. It's like we need these tests and close games and figuring out how to win, because this will really benefit us when we get to the postseason. So, yeah, this is good. We're getting good practice in close games. Fiercely saying this, laugh out loud at Isaac. Scotty is a troll, and I love it. The highlight is viral, and there were clips showing him doing it since high school. Not even high school, it's middle school. He started doing that shit when he was like 12. So it's annoying. In some ways, I get it. In some ways, it's the stuff I hate. In some ways, it's showboating, and it's not really necessary. But in some ways, he just wants to do it. He's that good, and I love him. He's doing a good job for our team. Go ahead then. But if I had my way, I wouldn't let him do it. I'd be telling him not to do that shit. But Darko, in some ways, credit to him. He wants the players to have joy and be happy and do what they like to do. And, well, Scotty likes to do that, so he's not telling him not to do that. Old school coaches might have told him not to do this. Let's go back to the 90s, and let's say that Scotty's playing for the Raptors and he's got Butch Carter as a coach. It could very well be that Butch Carter is telling Scotty, you can't do that shit anymore. We don't do that. That's not professional. And it's a bad habit, and we're cutting it out. The coaches would limit players from doing showboat shit like that. But so I guess a credit to Darko that he's allowing it, seriously, because he could tell him to cut that shit out. And in some ways, maybe that would be like pissing Scott off and be like, man, coach, you shouldn't tell me to not do that. It's something I like to do. So Darko's just like, I don't care. But I bet you if it did affect the game and it was a negative thing that it affected, he would probably ask him to maybe tone it down and not do that. I bet you would. I bet you would. Yeah, let's see. G saying this. Perkins is calling himself Jurassic Perk. Man, all right. He wants to be in Raptors Nation. Go ahead, Kendrick Perkins. You can join us. You've been a good supporter of us for years now. Kareem saying this. Good to see Kareem Thomas, the slam dunk champion of this channel. Another character win, learning how to win on the road and closing out close games is awesome. It's a beautiful thing. Let me go do this team stats real quick. Looking at the team stats from last night's game with the Sixers, the Raptors shot way better, 54%, and the Sixers shot 47%. That's a huge difference, and why we won by 9 is the field goal percentage. Three-pointers, like I said, we had 2 at halftime, but by the end of the game, we had 11. So that's 11 to 29, 38%. Now, they were shooting better than us, it seems like. It seems like they were shooting better than us from 3, and they got 14 threes. The free throws, we got way more to the line than they did, and that's a good sign. Like I said, the refs weren't against us. We got 24 attempts. They only got 18, and we made 4 more points at the free throw line than them. So that's good. Rebounds, they out-rebounded us. They got plus 10 on rebounds on us, and we still won. And they had 16 offensive rebounds. That's definitely something that Darko's once again watching the tape with them today and going over how the hell did they get 16 offensive rebounds on us. Assist to turnover ratio is a huge stat in telling why we win right now. And the Raptors had 33 assists. That ball was so beautiful the way it was moving around with only 15 turnovers. So that's a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio as a team. Meanwhile, you look at the assist to turnover ratio for the Sixers, 24 assists with 21 turnovers. So only plus 3 more assists to turnovers. That's not a winning recipe right there. And that's a huge stat for where we win from is the connectivity and the less turnovers that we get. 12 steals for us, fantastic. Fast break points were pretty even, and so was points in the paint. We did beat them 56-54. So yeah, the couple of areas that we lost was rebounding. But how do you that's a great sign that you can win games even though you didn't rebound as well as the other team and you didn't make as many threes and you still win the game. That's fantastic. Power 35 is back in the chat. Great seeing Power back in. Thanks for your support of this channel. Brandon Ingram draws so many mismatches that the defense has to respect his offensive awareness. BI draws double teams every time he gets the ball, like that superstar attention. Yeah. And it's been fantastic. And I love his growth as a player more and more in recognizing that he's got the double coming and getting that ball out of there. In fact, he's really good at passing out of the double because they're coming and crowding him and not giving him much vision. But all of a sudden, he swings that ball all the way over, whoop, to the other side of the court, and there's Grady for a 3. So, yeah, I'm really commend Brandon Ingram for recognizing the double coming and getting the ball to his teammates and not trying to force shots like DeMar DeRozan used to against 3 opponents. That's a good thing. I really like that. Troy Henry's here, man. You doing us dirty, Lex, with the comments section. What do you mean, man? What do you mean? What did I do? I'm not coming to see you guys enough? Well, I'm here now. I'll get to you guys soon. It's just I want to get through everything. But good to see you, Troy. James is saying this. Good to see Raptor Freak James. Ingram is the real deal. Shout out to Quickly, too. Yeah, they're awesome, man. And we're really in good shape. Nako's saying, I heard Cuban is back and doesn't want to trade AD. That's not what I heard. Now, I read that article that ESPN posted in the last couple of days about the power struggle in Dallas between Nico and Mark Cuban because I wanted to be up to speed on exactly what the fuck happened there. Mark Cuban is not in charge in Dallas still. He's an advisor. Patrick Dumont will listen to him, and he will tell him what to do right now in the vacuum that Nico Harrison has left being fired. And so in some ways, Mark Cuban is in charge of some things with the Mavericks, but not really in charge. He doesn't have the final say. He can advise the owner and say what he thinks he should do, but it's still up to Patrick whether he does it. I've not heard that he wants to keep AD. I've not heard that. I've heard that Nico didn't want to trade AD. But I've heard that Patrick does, and I've heard that Mark does. So I fully expect them to try to trade Anthony Davis by the end of the season. So that's it. Nico didn't want to trade him, but Nico's fired now. And that's part of the reason why he got fired is because he did not want to give up on the idea of Davis being their player. But, yeah, he got fired for that. And I'm pretty sure Patrick Dumont doesn't even want Davis to come back and play for the Mavs ever again. He just wants to go ahead and trade him. That's some of what I'm hearing right now. James is saying, Lex, Gafford or Day'Ron Sharpe to beef up our front court. Both are great ideas, and I wouldn't be happy with either one. Now, there's a special extra bonus for having Sharpe because he is high school teammates with Scott, and they are super close. So it would be adding like another fun, friendly guy like Mobo for Scotty because Day'Ron Sharpe is like that with Scott. So, and he's a very quality kind of backup big. He's not a starter, which will mean he won't step on anybody's toes and be too expensive like Davis would be if he came to Toronto. Raptors Digest. But Sharpe would fit, and so would Gafford. So either one of those I'm fine with. In some ways, I lean towards Sharpe and a little bit more just because of the Scotty connection. Because it would be really good to see Scotty play with them. And, there's a lot of weird synergy between Mobo and Scott when they're playing together on the court that's really built up from being kids that were friends when they were young. So let's see. Fiercely saying this: why do people want to dump on us problematic players? Send them elsewhere. Respectfully, we're good. They've wanted to do this since the beginning of our franchise. That was Oliver Miller in the very beginning. Oliver Miller's contract was ridiculous. And in some ways, they dumped him on us because he was overpaid for what he was doing. But the crazy thing was Isaiah brought him here, and Oliver Miller actually kind of earned his contract when he played for us. So the joke's on y'all. You thought you were funny by dumping a huge Oliver Miller on us in our first couple of years in the league, but we actually got good usage out of him, even though his contract was maybe too big. Now, this has been par for the course the whole 31 years of the Raptors history. They've always wanted to dump things on us, and they've always wanted to come and rob us of our really good young players also. That's why it's really important that we have a strong front office that knows how to say no and also has a very clear vision of what they want to do. Because Rob Babcock, he could get manipulated to do stupid shit like trade Vince Carter. And in some ways, you need somebody who's smart and knows what they're doing, like Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri before. So that's it right there. That's it. Stargate saying this: Raptors Digest is part of the network of YouTube. Every team has a Digest YouTube channel. All their content is exactly the same. Also is changed the respective team names. Okay, they just changed the names. So Raptors Digest is just like Sixers Digest and Knicks Digest and Celtics Digest, and that kid Ben Hogan or whatever his fucking name is that had his Peter Brady moment when his voice cracked and he changed from a boy to a man over the last few years. He's just a part of a shell organization that has one for each team. Well, I want to see the Freak Network. Where is the Hawks Freak? Where is the Sixers Freak? Y'all can make a Freak Network for all the teams too if you want. That's right. I don't even care about having any compensation or anything. I don't give a shit. I'm just doing what I do. There maybe shouldn't be a freak for every channel, for every team. Maybe just a Raptors freak, and we'll keep it unique like this. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Good to see you, Stargate. Always love seeing you in the chat. Power saying this: BI's game is actually very similar to Kobe's offensive game. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. He's patterned a lot of his footwork after him, and I love it because you're taking the length of Kevin Durant and the footwork of Kobe Bryant. You get Brandon Ingram. What's not to like right there? And I can't wait for his explosiveness to continue to arrive because he said it's not even here yet. And I'm like, man, that dunk on Monday kind of told me otherwise. Holy crap, man. That's right. Let's see. Stargate has corrected his comment from before. Raptors are a badass team. That's right. That's right. That's very right. Kaz is here. Good morning, y'all. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. Good to see you, my guy. Seymour saying, what's up to the champ? Salute to the sheriff. Let's go. Kareem saying teams need to understand that when you face the Raptors, you need to put away the basketball shoes and lace up the running shoes. This is a track meet. There's some truth to that. There is some truth to that for sure. We're going to try and tire you out. We're definitely going to be bringing the ball up the court as fast as we can. And that could be your five. The five is coming up. Mamu's bringing that ball up fast as he can. Looking like Giannis too. It's crazy, man. That's right. Trevor's saying Bigfoot is coming for you, Seymour. Run. He's coming. I know what he's saying, though. You know what he said? He's in a small wilderness town in BC, and there's probably like not a lot of people that look like him. Let's just put it that way. So in some ways, the city would be more, in some ways, not as. He said people are watching him. That's what I should have thought of at that point. I thought he was just out in the woods. And it's like, what is Bigfoot watching you? Sometimes I feel like Bigfoot might be out there looking at me. I mean, look out there for a sec. Let's see. What does it look like today? Yeah, Bigfoot could be through those woods somewhere out there. I mean, there is a human-sized shit in my yard out there right now, but I think it's a dog shit. Yeah, there's a big, huge turd out there. And I was like, who did this? And sometimes when I find weird shit in my yard, I like to take a picture of it and try to identify it like through the internet. What kind of shit is this? And then it'll tell me, oh, that's rabbit shit. Okay, cool. Okay, what kind of shit is this? Sasquatch. What? It's crazy, man. Troy Henry saying this: the attention the boys are getting is crazy, and it's about time. Who's going to complain about all them trades we made? Does it make sense now? That's what I'm saying, man. Cloud GM, shut up. Sergeant Wayne has told you, shut up. We know that we got a good GM. Bobby Webster's a badass, and Masai Ujiri was a fantastic president and GM also at times too. So yeah, just have confidence in your team. There's a lot of shakiness out in this world. They try and make people feel uncomfortable and shaky. That's part of the war on people. It's just to gaslight people. So stop getting gaslit by bullshit people around the NBA telling us who we are. It's not who we are. We are who we are when we get on the court in the 48 minutes and in between the lines happens. That's the one thing I tried to say this whole damn summer when so many people were being confused. I don't understand the Raptors. What are they even doing? You know, all the gaslighting around our team is insane because it's not just from the U.S. media, it's from the hockey media here in Canada too. So understand the misrepresentation of who the Raptors are over the years is very much just some bullshit gaslighting crap. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why we fused in the fire. We just got to be true to ourselves and believe in what we're doing and forget the noise because there's so much of it, so much of it. And we all need to understand this when we're online. Seriously, y'all, there's so much automated bots. Don't believe half the shit you're seeing in comments, especially politically. If you think that right-wing person in that comment's a real person, that's not. That's a bot paid for bot. I'm telling you right now, half that shit is not real. They try and peacock up and show that they think that make everybody think they have more support than they do. Just trust me on this. Yeah, Ninja's woo, baby, 10-5, baby. Yeah, he's feeling good. He was partying in Philadelphia about the Raptors beating the Sixers. That's right. I want to know that Nins goes out in the streets after the Raptors beat the Sixers in the city of brotherly love and said, "Raptors win!" I want him to yell that shit out the window. Although, please, maybe walk away from your house and do it far away so they don't know where you live. I don't know. Either way, I hope that Philadelphia's Nins is enjoying the win of the Raptors in his city when they come there. Did you go to the game like you did last year? I always want to know that Nins is going to the Raptors game in Philly and holding it down for us in Wells Fargo Arena. That's right. 10-5, baby. Let's go. That's right. 2-1 wins. That's right. Winning percentage. Who would have thunk 15 games in, 10-5 Raptors? Who would have said that? This guy right here. I would have said it. That's right. Mischief's here. Good to see the bass man holding it down. All right, let me see. What's Mischief saying here? I lost my place. Let me come back up here. Oh, wait, here he is. Oh, yeah, I went too far. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, hopefully RJ Barrett trade talk stops. This starting five is my favorite starting five the Raptors have ever had. You know, in paper, I can get why the gaslighters tried to make it seem like this wouldn't work. They, once again, come from a selfish mindset of scarcity. You know, you see Brandon Ingram added to the mix, and you're like, well, there's not enough balls for that team. Who's going to take the back seat? Who's going to be the leader? There's obviously going to be an ego problem in Toronto if they have Ingram come in there. No ego problem. And once again, I'll get it back to the guy I started talking about at the beginning, Barrett. Barrett has no ego in anything that's going on right now. And in some ways, to be the third banana and be the guy he's being for the Raptors, he has to be this way. Seriously, this is fantastic. And this is absolutely what we needed to happen with the Raptors. So I'm so happy. In some ways, ego was what they were trying to say was going to be a problem. Why is this? This is not going to work. These guys can't be on the same team. Well, it seems like it is working. And it is fitting real nice. And sometimes when it's so good, there's no empty space. It's all filled in. Like, this is Brandon, this is Scotty, this is RJ, this is Emmanuel, this is Yacht, this is the bench. And this is how it all fills in. And there's no empty spots. And there's no crossing over and stepping on each other's toes. It's just a well-oiled machine that's been meticulously crafted and built by Coach Darko and the GMs and Bobby and Masai. And boom, it is working. It's like clockwork. Those gears are actually clicking and hitting and turning. And they're not hitting each other in friction and getting all messed up. No, it's working. It's working like clockwork. I love it. Trevor's saying this: Raptors are winning games in the pick and roll combinations with different players. Yeah, that's the fun thing. Like Stargate says, the phone book that Darko has for plays that he can just go to and get different stuff. Well, having such a versatile, different talents and such high level talents, he can really be kind of like improvisational on the fly. In some ways, if there's a issue in the game that's presented to him, he has options because he has different talents in different ways, whether it's quickly and his speed and what he can do, whether it's Brandon and his amazing offensive gifts, whether it's Scotty and his absolute beast of an athletic body and what he can do. You know, there's just different levels of different things that we can do to help us win in different situations. And it's not the same recipe every night. It's not that Manuel has got to get 20 and BI's got to get 30 and this has to happen like this. No, it's fill it in each night. It's a coloring book and get different crayons each night, different color crayons. Well, it's usually a manual crayon a little bit more tonight to close out the game against the Sixers and win the game tonight. You know, that's the beautiful thing right there. Different combinations, different stuff, a lot of two-man game, a lot of full team passing. All that stuff helps us win right now. That's right. Mischief saying this, Joel Embiid is injured for all injuries he's caused in his past. Karma caught up to him. Yeah, that could be part of it. That could be part of it. Fierce is saying 1,500 streak. That's right. And we keep going. Graham's back. Holy crap, Graham. Good to see you, man. Long time Raptor Freak Graham from the very beginning of the channel. Graham, you live out near me, right? I'm supposed to hook up with you and talk to you because I moved out to the woods. And apparently Graham lives out here in the woods. So I still need to get in touch with you. I know I'm Facebook friends with you and see where you're at near me because I'm not going to disclose exactly where we're at. But yeah, good to see you back in, man. Thanks for the congratulations, man. Fiercely saying W vibes. Paul B saying, I just made up the 1,300 number, Lex. Sorry to short you 200 streams. Your dedication is incredible. Yeah, I mean, you could go look in the archive and the numbers there. I think it's 1,530 as of this morning. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks. Family, do not be conformed to the evil, wicked systems of the world, but be daily transformed by the renewing of your mind by doing good. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of wicked, evil systems in this world right now that if we don't want to participate, we can opt out. It's just that we have to find the other option. In some ways, the other option is community, it's grassroots, it's do it yourself. Seriously. You know, if the whole system collapses economically, like if we go into a Great Depression like we did 100 years ago because of the greed of the oligarch class right now, which is very likely, guys, we can see what's happening with the United States right now. There's an economic downturn coming, and there's going to be a lot of hurt. A lot of people are going to have to get more self-sustaining, and that means growing your own food and having community and looking out for each other. Because seriously, in some ways, the system is not going to protect us at this point, especially with the people who are in charge in the United States right now. So you take it upon yourself to be independent and find your own ways to do stuff and start thinking about it now. Because in some ways, you want to be prepared and ready for anything. Because I'm telling you right now, in the next 2 years, there's going to be major global shifts with this world right now and what's happening. And part of it will be very much driven economically. And we need to be ready for this. And there's all kinds of fronts that we need to be vigilant and ready to protect our freedoms and our democracy, and also our ability to have good, happy lives economically. And that means, you know what? We may need to do some tough boycotts and walk off jobs. And that may mean like what they're doing in Charlotte today. You guys know what happened? In Charlotte, North Carolina, ICE has moved into there to come and take people out of the community in a terrorizing way. And well, the students of the schools in the city of Charlotte have boycotted school. 30,000 students did not go to school this week in protest of ICE and the things that are happening. The young people are taking the leadership right now in that state to show that we are not fucking doing this. And they are not they're not coming to school because they're like, we're taking a stand and all of us are not coming. So you can't punish us all. This is the kind of action and solidarity that we all need to do in different ways. And I love to see it from the youth of North Carolina showing this. That's the kind of leadership we want. And the beautiful thing is it's coming from young people. So be ready for this kind of stuff. And you'll know the call when you hear it in your area of the neck of the woods. When this kind of stuff starts changing, be ready to join the masses because we have the power, not the very small minority that's trying to rob us all blind through corporations and bullshit. We need to stand up and finish this game by throwing the game out into the woods because they can't play their damn game on our backs if we stand up and throw the game in the woods. And that's what I'm saying right there, guys. Be ready for this. Blessings to Phyllis family and all the Raptor Freak families out there. That's right. Be ready. The call will be there, just like it was for the youth of the schools at Charlotte right now. Some of those kids were at the game against Greensboro instead. All right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying Jurassic Perk. Okay, he's intense, borderline fanatical, but we appreciate the genuine love. Yeah, I'm not going to be hating on somebody who's actually supporting the team. And in some ways, it is what it is right there. All right, let me go through. And wow, it's right at 2 hours. Maybe we'll finish up right now. Y'all check on your Raptor Freak fantasy teams. If you're in our Yahoo NBA Fantasy League, definitely check on it. Let's do a couple birthdays real quick. I said earlier, it is Grady's birthday. He is 22 today. Happy birthday, Grady. Also today, it's happy birthday to Menke Batir. That's right, the Mongolian center, and the Raptors history is 50 years old today. Menke Batir played 7 games for the Raptors in 2003, 2004. He averaged 1.1 points per game. Of course, he is from Mongolia, and he was a center. He's one of these legends in our history. His nickname was Monster. And yeah, he was a big dude, 6'11", 308 pounds. What a load. So yeah, happy birthday, happy 50th birthday to Menge. Also, I want to say happy birthday to somebody who's got a chapter in this book by Eric Smith called We the Raptors. Today is Chris Childs' birthday, y'all. Chris Childs was a Raptor after being a Knick, and he was a part of our early playoff success in the headband era. Chris Childs is 58 today. So happy 58th birthday to Chris Childs. He actually played 95 games for the Raptors over 2 years, and he was a great player for us. He was very good in the playoffs for us. And he played alongside Alvin in that series. We beat the Knicks the first time we ever won the playoff series. And then we played the Sixers and Allen Iverson in the next round. Yeah, Chris Childs was our backup point guard at that point. Alvin was our starter. But yeah, there's a Chris Childs chapter in here in this book about Chris Childs that Eric Smith wrote. So happy 59th birthday, Chris Childs. Yeah, 58. I think 58 actually is his birthday today. So yeah, there's a birthday today. All right, Straight Goods on goods. They're not Canadian goods, but if you guys want to get cookies and you don't want to buy American cookies, these are Scottish cookies. That's right. Nairn's is a cookie company. And I've got 2 boxes of Nairn's cookies here, chunky oat cookies and ginger cookies. And yeah, these are fantastic cookies. They're imported directly to Canada from Scotland. And so they're Scottish cookies. You're not buying American cookies if you buy the Nairn's cookies. And I like them. They're tasty, and they're a nice little snack, maybe after dinner with a tea. It's some tea cookies. So yeah, you don't have to buy straight Canadian, but definitely don't buy American. And buy some Scottish cookies. Yeah, Nairn's cookies. Yeah, that's my Straight Goods on Canadian goods for today. All right, let's do the classic card. We're moving right along. We'll finish up in the next little bit right here. Okay, this is the first card I pulled, and we'll do this classic card right now. It is kind of classic. So full name answer, please, on this classic card. It may be hard to see just because of the lighting. I don't know. Can you guys see who this is? He was kind of in the news recently. Maybe you can't tell who that is. I don't know. Slug Deezy's here. Maybe he'll get this guy. He's in a Rockets uniform. I thought it was a Raptors card at first when I first pulled it, but it is not. Yes, James knows. That's right. You got to put the name in, James. That's a good clue. That's right. It is Austin Rivers. Yeah, Austin did an interview with Doc Rivers the other day, and I guess Austin's not playing anymore because he's like an interview guy, and I don't think he's actually in the league anymore, but he had an interview with his dad, Glenn Doc Rivers. So that's Austin Rivers. Good job, James, getting the classic card. I'm glad somebody got it pretty quick. So yeah, I'm going to give you 100 points for that one. He's not a totally well-known card, and there's some skill to knowing that. So Austin Rivers is the classic card of the day, and we're going to give it to Raptor Freak James. That's your second one this week, my guy. There you go. Good job. All right, let me see. Let me wrap it up. All right, guys. So the Raptors beat the Sixers. The 905 beat the Swarm. It was a double W day yesterday. And both teams were losing for a good chunk of the game and came back and won in the third quarter and finished out right in the fourth. Kudos to the Raptors, their coaching staff, and the way they're doing things. They're winning ways. And we want to continue to do this. Stay humble and continue to do this. In some ways, don't let the wins carry you away. That's how we can keep winning, is by staying humble and just acting like this is what we do. And well, we'll play Washington on Friday in the in-season tournament, and we should win that game. And we'll be 3-0 in the Emiratis Cup, which would be fantastic. Tonight, the 905 will play Greensboro Swarm at 7 o'clock. I'll be in the YouTube chat if you want to hang out in there and watch the game with me. The referees for the game tonight are Julian Scott, Matt Rafferty, and RJ Johnson. And yes, the Raptors won against the Sixers. My stars of the game for last night's game were Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, Jacoby Walter, and Scotty Barnes. And then for the 905 game, it was Chucky Hepburn, Elijah Martin, AJ Lawson, Julian Reese, and David Roddy. All right, I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their Thursday. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors 905. And I'm going to leave you guys with some nature as I get off the stream right now. Y'all, thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for congratulating me on the 1,500. And I really appreciate you guys. You make being a Raptors fan fun. They've been tough years in recent years, and it's so nice to be back on top in certain ways right now. So let's relish it. It's not forever, and hopefully it'll be for a long time, though, still. All right, I appreciate everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., for a preview of the Washington Wizards game on Friday night at Scotiabank Arena. Let's go, Raptors, and happy birthday, Grady Dick. I hope you have a fantastic day. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later.